manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show.
Good morning. Good morning.
Shut the hell up.
What an absolute slapper of a 12 hours we've had. In the past 12 hours, my love for The Simpsons has been reinvigorated. In the last 12 hours, I need a big favor, Alonzo. I need you, if I walk outside today after the show and crossing the parking lot, I am taken out by a pickup truck or something, I need you to take my laptop, my tablet, my cell phone, and every other digital device that I own. I need you to light a big bonfire, and I need you to throw them all in there. And I need you to do that because this morning, roughly 10 minutes before I started the show, I typed into various search boxes across the internet, Jason Kelce butthole. Now, there's a perfectly valid reason for that, and a reason that makes sense within the context of the radio program. A perfectly valid reason that all of you will come to understand later on in the radio broadcast. And yes, this is a bit of what we in the industry call a tease. You're going to have to hang around for it. But I need you all to know that this morning, I typed the words Jason Kelce butthole into a search box, and then I hovered over the enter button for like a solid 15 to 22 seconds, thinking to myself, there's a valid reason for doing this. There's a justifiable reason for doing this. There's a good business, career, job-oriented reason for pushing enter. However, it at some point is very possible that a headline will be written and posted on the internet for the world to see. Local sports radio host searches Jason Kelce butthole on the internet. And again, it's a perfectly valid reason why I did it, but I did it. So if I kick the can, great one, in the next, 10 to 15 years, before anyone else has the opportunity to acquire these materials, I need you to burn them all in a very large fire.
There's a flaw in your request, and I don't know how I could take care of this. I don't know if I can destroy the Odyssey app. And now that you've said it on the air, I don't know.
Yeah, but
I can talk to technical people
on
that can
the
tell
air,
me how to scrub things.
On the air, I have now said justifiable reason. There will be audio evidence of that justifiable reason coming up very shortly. You will find out why I did that. And again, it makes perfect sense in the context of the show. What will not make sense is if I get home tonight and I cast my phone onto the television. I'll do my BetMGM Tonight interview at 8, and then I'll go sit on the couch. And the lady friend and I, Tuesday night is kind of date night for us. It's kind of our night to sit together and watch some TV, watch a movie, cook a little dinner for each other, just kind of relax and enjoy being a lovely 40-year-old married couple that doesn't like people or outside. And if I cast my phone to the TV so that we can watch a movie or whatever, and I, on my phone, which now the screen of which is on the television, if she says, let's watch another episode of Justified, and I type J, and it autofills Jason Kelce butthole, I have to try to explain this to her and get her over the initial shock of seeing that at some point in my life, I searched those three words together on purpose with intent. And then I got to, wait, babe, no, wait, listen. I'm a sports talk radio host. It's going to make perfect sense. And she's going to go, get away from me, you creep, you absolute weirdo. I want nothing to do with you. On the show, it's going to make perfect sense. You're all going to be like, that's really funny, Rob. We get it now. We understand it now. This absolutely makes wonderful sense. You're going to be like, it's understandable. But outside of the context of this show, which is 95% of my life, the fact that I searched those three words in that order on the internet, that ever gets out of context, there's going to be a lot of people making a lot of judgments about your boy.
I'm thinking that's not the weirdest thing she's ever seen on your phone. So, I mean, you're probably good.
I can neither confirm nor deny. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo. I would like to, aside from pointing out that my love for The Simpsons reinvigorated. It's been a long time since I've done or watched anything Simpsons related. And that's not because the show isn't still good. I'm sure it is. Thank you, Nelson. It's not that the show is or isn't good. I can't say that I know. I assume it is. Matt Groening's been a genius for a very long time. It's just that there's just too much else for me to watch.
I can't watch it because it predicts the future way too much, and I don't want to know what's going to happen.
Well, again, and I had this conversation with somebody once. The Simpsons has made 7.643 million episodes. They're gonna stumble onto some coincidences for sure. But it is just the fact that I'm out of room. I have to fight for my life just to be able to watch wrestling, and I genuinely love wrestling. And I have to fight for my life to fit it into my weekly schedule because in football, when football season's over, it'll be a little bit more relaxed, of a little bit more time. But right now, we've had, up until this weekend, college football around the week, around the clock. We've got NFL that is starting to see our divisional championships claimed week by week. We've got college basketball, which this early season in the college basketball world has been phenomenal, dude. We have gotten some fantastic matchups and results. There's just been too much. It's tough for me to fit in The Simpsons, but I decided to check out The Simpsons broadcast last night. It's pretty good. It's pretty entertaining. It was more entertaining for me, a 39-year-old man, than, say, the Toy Story broadcast was. Now, I actually enjoyed, to some degree, the Toy Story broadcast, but I also have to acknowledge that as a 34-year-old man, the first Toy Story movie dropped in 1995. I was 10. So that is like a pivotal movie in Rob Brown's childhood experience.
So the fact that both these teams are really bad, that didn't factor into, I mean, you going, I'll find something else.
Okay, let's start off by being very clear. The Bengals defense is really bad. The Bengals offense is still very good. Joey B threatened 400 yards again, had 3 touchdown passes. Jamar Chase had a $174. They ran the ball just fine. The Bengals defense is bad. The Bengals offense is fine. The Bengals offense is Super Bowl quality. They're just bogged down by one of the most embarrassing defenses in the National Football League. And then there's the Dallas Cowboys, who lost in the most Dallas Cowboys fashion of all time. Did you see the way they lost the game? It's pretty damn spectacular.
Now they just showed it on TV.
Don't worry, because the radio meltdown was so good, I went and found the call of the radio dudes for the Dallas Cowboys having their absolute Leon letdown. That's a good football joke.
It would have been.
It's a good football joke.
Like 10, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago.
Oh, it's still a good football joke. It's just one that not a lot of people get.
Well, only Dallas Cowboy fans now remember that.
Yeah, there's some Buffalo Bill fans out there that understand the Leon letdown joke. Either way, the point is, Toy Story was a pivotal moment for a 10-year-old Rob Brown. So I enjoyed that broadcast for what it was. But as a 39-year-old man, it didn't really click. It never really made sense to me why it was, if you're going to do this gimmick, why you pick Toy Story as the movie that you would utilize for a platform, right? Like my 6-year-old nephew, like, kind of got into it, but Toy Story isn't on the radar for him, right? Toy Story is 20 years older than him. He doesn't really click. The Simpsons clicks for a dude like me. Now, I'm going to say, I don't know what the ratings are going to be because I'm a child. And so somebody like me is like, yeah, I'm going to check out the Simpsons broadcast for sure. Let's take a look at it. But also a bunch of people my age are going to go, I'm too grown up and mature for The Simpsons, so I'm just going to watch the real game. Which, okay, fine, whatever. I'm not here to judge. If you watch like I do, great. And if you don't, that's okay too. But I flipped over and I watched it. It's pretty good. They AR'd Mina Kimes and Dan Orlovsky into Springfield, right? So like they actually had their own Simpsons characters. The broadcast opened with Ralph Wiggum singing the ESPN. Da-da-da-da, ba-da-da. It was hilarious. They had, in fact, I'm going to play it for you later. They had Mo from Mo's Tavern give a pregame hype speech to the virtual Dallas Cowboys. And honestly, they might could have used it in real life because it went real bad for the Big D. It was pretty and instead of, and you know, when years gone by, they just had the teams playing and all the characters. They actually substituted Homer and Bart and Lisa and Mo and Barney and some of the characters. They actually had them in the game playing. At one point, Lisa Simpson turned on the Jets and dusted the Cowboy defense for 7. It is the funniest thing to watch Lisa Simpson just absolutely put the screws to the Dallas Cowboy defense. It was hilarious. Like, it was genuinely good. So I would like today to talk a little bit about the concept of gimmick in sport, because on Saturday night, as I pointed out yesterday, on Saturday night, I had a couple of the boys come over. We lit a little fire in the fire pit. I built a DIY outside fire pit. Not Saturday night, Sunday night. I was at the Clemson game Saturday night. Sunday night, thank you for the correction there, Ombudsman. Sunday night, I had the boys come over, and we got into a conversation about the Logan Paul Mike Tyson fight. To which I said, because apparently, great one, there's a rumor circulating about a rematch, that they may run that thing back and do it again. Which I'm just going to say, I was relatively polite about y'all watching the first one. If you watch the second one, you're a moron. You're a Class A certified prime grade moron.
Yeah, I'm staying away.
Yeah.
No, so for other reasons.
Whatever. You don't want to see Mike Tyson's butt again?
No, it was.
Oh, okay. You're a moron if you watch a rematch if they do it. But we got into this conversation, and one of the fellas that was over was like, Rob Brown, he's from Atlanta. He's like, I listen to your show in Atlanta. I listen on the Odyssey app. It's like, I listen every morning. Why were you so heated about this fight? And I gave all my reasons. We're not going to rehash the conversation. I basically informed him in not so many words. Look, here's the deal. I'm a big boxing guy, and I feel like that fight does harm to boxing. And he goes, well, I don't watch boxing, but I watch that. So didn't it bring eyes to boxing? I said, no, it didn't. It brought eyes to theater. It brought eyes to theater. It brought eyes to boxing the way that WWE brings eyes to MMA. It's not the same thing. It's just a pretend version of it. Blah, blah, blah. Went down this whole thing. And then we got into a conversation about gimmicks in sports because a couple of the guys over, big baseball guys. And we talked about the golden at-bat rumor that got floating around. Which I actually do want to talk about. That is part of the conversation about gimmicks in sports coming up a little bit later in the show. But I said, look, I don't have a problem with the ghost runner on second base. There's actually a good baseball reason to do that. A good fan supportive reason to do that. That's not a gimmick. That's actually a good idea backed up by numbers. And I'll tell you what those are later. The golden at-bat rule is a gimmick. It's very gimmicky. There's no good baseball reason for doing it. That is 100% a way to generate drama, aka reality television, right? So it's very gimmicky, and I do not like it or want it. The Simpsons broadcast, absolutely a gimmick for the NFL, and it's a gimmick that, let's keep it a buck, doesn't really do anything to grow your fan base because I don't know about y'all. I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons growing up because my mother and father were supportive and good parents. Now, I snuck out and watched it. Well, I didn't sneak out. I watched it in my room anyway because I had a TV in my room because my parents were unsupportive. I'm just kidding, Mom. I love you. It's a joke. But I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Wow, TV in your room.
Had a TV in my room.
Wow.
Wasn't a big screen. Don't worry. It was a regular old janky.
Yeah, they didn't have those then.
Box TV.
They didn't have those yet.
They did not.
Yeah.
So I didn't really watch The Simpsons. I didn't start watching The Simpsons like regularly.
I didn't have electricity in my room.
Well, Ohio, we get it.
It's not Ohio. It's poor.
I didn't really watch The Simpsons until I was a little bit older. So the part of me that wanted to tune in last night was somebody who watched The Simpsons as a grown-up. Therefore, I was watching that game, whether it was on The Simpsons broadcast or it was Monday Night Football or it was the Manning cast. I don't think it grew the game any, but it actually got me to tune in a little bit longer than I might otherwise. I told you last week, I've actually been doing a better job at going to bed at I don't want to say healthy bedtime, but a little bit more regular bedtime than I should for somebody who's got to get up at 3:45 in the morning. So I've been going to bed at Monday Night Football at halftime, maybe mid-third quarter. I'd turn the TV off, go to bed, and I get up and I listen to or watch the highlights the next day, the next morning. I stayed up and finished it last night, flipping back and forth between the regular broadcast and the Simpsons broadcast. It was a nice little gimmick. It was good. It was entertaining. It was funny. There were some funny moments to it. I enjoyed it for what it was. And so my question is, are these types of things good or bad for sport? Is it sport by sport? Is it gimmick by gimmick? I want to get into that later on in the show. But that's not all that we have to get into on the broadcast today. Our 4 Heisman finalists have been announced. They are quarterback Cam Ward, University of Miami. Running back Ashton Janty, Boise State University. I'm going to say University of Boise State University. It's early. I stayed up late watching The Simpsons. What do you want? Travis Hunter, athlete, University of Colorado. And Dylan Gabriel, quarterback, University of Oregon. We are going to talk about the Heisman Trophy because I have to say this. I think, great one, this might be the first year in a number of years, sincerely, this might be the first year in a number of years that I actually do think the best player in college football is going to win the Heisman. This might be the first year in a number of years. It may still be a popularity contest, a beauty pageant. And honestly, the fact that Dylan Gabriel is there kind of tells me that it is. Because there is another quarterback who was oft criticized this year who actually has better numbers than Dylan Gabriel, but was not even close to being considered. I'm going to talk about that later. But I actually think there is a very good chance that the best player in college football wins it this year. And this might be a year I actually watch the Heisman. We're going to get into that. We'll talk, obviously, some Clemson, Texas. We'll talk some South Carolina, Illinois Illini, down in Orlando, Florida, New Year's Eve.
I don't think they do that, do they?
They absolutely do that.
Do they?
And I only know that because my interviewer tonight, Brad Evans of BetMGM tonight, is an ILL guy. And he makes sure to yell that every time they get brought up. You got the ILL and the Hoosiers. We're going to talk all that and more as the show rolls on. Busy day. Don't go anywhere. Rob Lonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. Joe, good morning, big dog. The other 6 of you also watching and lurking in the shadows. Hello. 30 seconds. Be right back.
On the Fan Upstate. Currently it's 51 degrees.
Tune in this week to Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti, where they break down all the headlines in the NFL. Presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on their iPhone 16 Pro.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. That's right. Now's your last chance to trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Only at Verizon. Service plan required for Watch and Tab. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
How do you spot the all-new Nissan Rogue Rock Creek? Here's a hint. It's got all-terrain tires, a tubular roof rack you can't miss, and it's tough inside and out with lava red detail. You'll also find it in its natural habitat, Climbing mountains, attacking rugged trails, and never backing down from any adventure. The first ever Nissan Road Rock Creek.
Intelligent all-wheel drive and conditions are provided hand traction and all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions. Always secure cargo. Heavy loading of the vehicle with cargo, especially on the route, will affect the handling and stability of the vehicle.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. The Mega Millions jackpot for Tuesday is $619 million. Be sure to stop by your local South Carolina Education Lottery retailer and get your ticket today. See SCEducationLottery.com for jackpot odds and a store near you.
Can't wait to hear what's next on Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel.
Tell me what's coming up. Can my Dallas Cowboys give me any hope in Monday Night Football before they head to Charlotte? And what's a big game? Well, signing day is over, and the transfer portal.
Sorry, I'm not talking. I'm a little sluggish.
We talked a lot about the college football playoffs, but what are our early leads?
Diesel and Cole Bryson really bring it on Wire to Wire.
Turn it on and leave it on.
Afternoons 3 to 7 on the Fan Upstairs.
To Robin Lonzo.
I really like the Heisman Trophy 4 this year. Now, Dylan Gabriel, I'm not so sure about. He's the only one that I'm like, I don't really know. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel really jumps off the page at me. Dylan Gabriel's there because the Oregon Ducks are the only team that's undefeated in major college football. Dylan Gabriel is there because his Ducks are the 1 seed, are catching the first round bye. Well, honestly, should have, but do not, but should have had the easiest path to the national championship. The Ducks are probably the only team inside the top 4 that there are no questions about. We have known since like week 6 that provided the Ducks didn't duck it up, that they were going to be inside the top 4. And they didn't. So, Dylan Gabriel gets the nod because the starting quarterback of a Power 4 team that goes undefeated and makes it to the 1 seed almost exclusively as always, because somebody from that team is going to be there more often than not. So, I don't really have an issue with it. I think Dylan Gabriel's checking in 4th out of this group. Cam Ward's going to go ahead of him. Cam Ward is the only reason that the Miami Hurricanes were even in the race, okay? Because I assume most of you at this point don't either. I don't trust Mario Cristobal at all. Mario Cristobal was carried by Cam Ward the way that Jimbo Fisher was carried by Jameis Winston a number of years ago. He's just not a good coach. He's a guy that very rarely, if ever, actually has his team prepared to compete. I cite to you the upset loss to Syracuse that very much cost the Miami Hurricanes a playoff spot. They win that game, they are in the playoffs, no questions asked, right? Because they're in Clemson's spot in the ACC title game. And if they were good enough to beat Syracuse, I think they probably were good enough to beat SMU as Clemson did. So they would have not only been in the playoffs, they would have been in the playoffs and had a first-round bye had they won the ACC outright. Cam Ward's the only reason that they were even in that discussion, because that dude's a stud. He's checking in 3rd because the Heisman Trophy is between Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty. Now, the conversation that I would love to have is, who's winning the Heisman Trophy? Have you looked at the Heisman Trophy odds as of late? Greatman, I know that we don't love to kind of take the air out of the balloon. I don't like to take the drama out of a conversation like this. But if you go look at the Heisman odds right now, Travis Hunter's winning this thing, and it's not going to be even close.
I've been saying that all along. We'll see what happens.
You have.
The thing is...
there's no we'll see what happens. Travis Hunter, as of last night, is minus 4,000 to win this thing. Ashton Jeanty, the only guy that even has a chance to pull the upset, is plus 1,100 as of last night.
Are you saying Travis Hunter doesn't deserve it?
Not at all. Not at all. What I'm saying is, I actually really like this race more than I've liked it. In the last handful of years, to me, it's kind of felt like it's a no-brainer who the guy is, right? Like it's kind of a no-brainer. Not necessarily because they definitely have the best player in football. Because again, and I've made this argument before, a bad team could have the best player in football. We do this with quarterbacks. We do this with, well, primarily quarterbacks, but this is why I have always said wins and losses are not a player stat. They're a team stat, and they should never go on to a player. That doesn't mean that a player can't lose a game for a team, but cumulative wins, losses are not a player stat. Last year, the LSU Tigers were what, 9-3? Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. Did anybody argue that Jaden Daniels was the best player in college football last year? I got a hard time saying he wasn't. And again, there are bonus points for being a quarterback. It is the hardest position in football to play. That's not a question. That's a statement. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. It's the hardest position to play in college football, which is why so many quarterbacks win it. 4 out of the last 5, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Joe Burrow. 4 of the last 5, the only non-quarterback to win it was Devontae Smith, and the Slim Reaper was a dog that year for Alabama. Before that, Kyler Murray quarterback, Baker Mayfield quarterback, Lamar Jackson quarterback, then Derrick Henry running back. Before that, Marcus Mariota quarterback, Jameis Winston quarterback, Johnny Manziel quarterback, Robert Griffin III quarterback, Cam Newton quarterback, Mark Ingram II running back. Before him, Sam Bradford quarterback, Tim Tebow quarterback, Troy Smith quarterback, Reggie Bush running back, Matt Leinart quarterback, Jason White quarterback, Carson Palmer quarterback, Eric Crouch quarterback, Chris Rinke quarterback, Ron Dane running back, Ricky Williams running back, Charles Woodson DB. That was 99, 98, and 97 respectively. You got to go back a quarter of a century to get to a spot where you didn't have back-to-back quarterbacks. And even then, when I look at those 3, Lonzo, was there any world in which Ron Dane wasn't winning that Heisman that year? The kid was unbelievable. Was there any world in which Ricky Williams wasn't winning the Heisman that year? He got 86% of the vote. Charles Woodson was Travis Hunter of the time. No doubt he was winning it. So with all of that being said, here's why I love this race between Janty and Hunter. It's over, by the way. Travis Hunter is winning it. But here's why I like this race. Because we have 2 dudes doing something that we may never see in our lifetimes. I'm not saying it'll never be done again. But we got 2 dudes doing things that we may never see again in our lifetimes, especially Lonzo and I. We're very old, right? We're like foot in the grave old already. We're just there. So what Travis Hunter is doing at Colorado as a two-way athlete who's playing like 140 snaps a game. I heard somebody say the other day, and I'm trying to remember who it was. Oh, you know who it was? Here's a sentence, Lonzo, that I'm going to say that's going to sound like a joke, but I am dead serious about it. Do you know who I applauded the TV for the other day? The Oregon Duck was on the Pat McAfee show. Did you catch that?
I saw the highlights.
Oh, it was hilarious.
I saw what he was able to do. Yeah.
The Oregon Duck, who McAfee was at Oregon a couple of weeks ago for game day.
Apparently some kind of athlete. Just saying.
The Oregon Duck came into the Thunderdome with Pat McAfee, and they were having a conversation where the Duck was, obviously, promoting Dylan Gabriel for Heisman. And Pat brought up the fact that Travis Hunter plays like 140 snaps a game. Nobody else in this race, nobody else in college football is doing that. And the Oregon Duck picked up a whiteboard, and he wrote on it, "Snaps are not a stat." And then he threw the whiteboard away. It was great. It was a great moment. But I genuinely looked at it, and I went, he's right, but it is a consideration. It's not a stat. It's not a stat. We're not going to go, well, in future years, we're not going to go, how many snaps did that guy play? Because especially for a guy like a quarterback, I would love to see a quarterback good enough to get a Heisman Trophy nod, but who plays a quarter of the snaps of other quarterbacks. What's that mean? It means he's wildly effective, right? Snaps are not a stat. But endurance and ability to be out there and playing and helping your team is something that should be considered for the Heisman Trophy. Enter Travis Hunter. So Travis Hunter doing it both ways, being a stellar wide receiver, a shutdown defensive back, can do anything out on the football field at those two positions, absolutely doing something that, again, I'm not saying we're never going to see it again. I am saying if we do see it again, and we see it again, and somebody's doing it again at the level that Travis Hunter's doing at, that kid's going to be in New York as well. But in the same year that Travis Hunter is doing what Travis Hunter is doing, something we may never see again in our lifetimes, Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State is doing it, and he's doing the same thing. Something we may never see again in our lifetime. What Ashton Jeanty is doing right now is out of this world. The dude is averaging like 163 yards per carry. It's unbelievable. We talked about this yesterday. I said he's effectively doing something right now that we haven't seen since like Bo Jackson. It's unbelievable. If it was any other year, Ashton Jeanty runs away with the Heisman Trophy. Runs away with the Heisman Trophy. But what is happening right now is that Travis Hunter is doing something that's just as impressive. Here's where I land on it. I feel sad for Ashton Jeanty. I feel sad for Ashton Jeanty because the year that he is having right now deserves to be memorialized forever. We should, when we all grow up, we should be talking about the year of Ashton Jeanty forever. That's how good of a year he's having. I don't care that he's in the Mountain West. I don't care that his strength of schedule isn't as good as Colorado's. I don't care. If that was that big of a difference, we'd have a Mountain West running back doing something like this every year. If it was that big of a difference, we would see group of 5 players making this much of an impact every year. You could take Ashton Jeanty and drop him right now into Colorado, and he's still a Heisman candidate. You could drop him into Georgia. He's still a Heisman candidate. You could drop him into Ohio State. He would beat out 2 guys in Ohio State's backfield that are both going to the NFL. That's how good this kid is. His year deserves to be memorialized forever. But he happened to do it in a year where Travis Hunter's doing what Travis Hunter's doing. He happened to do it in a year where not only Travis Hunter is doing what Travis Hunter is doing, but Travis Hunter's doing what Travis Hunter is doing, and Travis Hunter has the Deion Sanders hype machine behind him. And for the record, I will say this. I've criticized Deion Sanders a lot on this program, and probably will do it again. But I'm going to say this. Deion Sanders knows exactly what the hell he's doing, and he's doing the right thing by promoting Travis Hunter the way he's promoted him. Deion Sanders being out there, being Travis Hunter's number 1 rah-rah shish boom bah cheerleader is exactly how you get kids to want to come be a part of your program. They go, that's the guy that's going to get out there and be my Paul Heyman, be my advocate. That's the kind of guy I want to play for. If I'm a parent, that's the kind of guy I want to send my kid to. Regardless of Deion's stance and usage of the portal and all that, Deion's hype machine is a reason that you get 5 stars to come play for you. So this is a wonderful year. I hate it for Ashton Jeanty because any other year he is the, pardon the pun, runaway winner of the Heisman Trophy. But Travis Hunter is one of the most unique, elite athletes we have seen in college football in a very long time. And he's going to win this thing, hands down, going away. The trophy presentation Saturday night at the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City. When we come back, let's talk some. Let's start this conversation about gimmicks in sports. We had the Simpsons game last night. We had the conversation about the golden at bat. We'll get into all that and more. Rob Lonzo and you on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
So the Indiana Jones game dropped on.
I started playing it last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's
How far have you gotten?
Just very early. I went through I'm at the Vatican, and I'm sneaking around in the
Yeah, I was in
tunnels
there.
underneath.
I was in there a long time before I found the dude.
Yeah.
I mean, knocked out a lot of guys.
I'm not good at the fighting.
Yeah.
I'm not good at the fighting.
Well, when you fight the giant at first, is that Tony Todd? I think it is. The guy, he just died like a couple weeks ago. He was Candyman. I'm thinking, okay, I'm fighting this guy. Oh man, I just died. Oh no, it's part of I'm good. It has enough cutscenes for 2 movies, supposedly.
I went through the tutorial. I went to the Vatican. I went down on the tunnels. I'm looking for him. I did not find him. I played from like 6 until Monday Night Football started.
Did not find who?
The big guy.
Oh, okay. You're way ahead of me then. I think I'm not even at the Vatican yet.
Oh, it's like the second place you go.
Okay, I didn't think that was the Vatican.
Yeah.
Okay. Fighting the black shirts, hearing all about Mussolini.
Yep.
Yeah. I went every level of that thing. And it took me a while to figure out how to use the map. And I finally figured it out because I'm dense and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm not good in video. Well, in life, I get lost a lot. So in video games, I really get lost. But I found a ton of stuff being lost.
Yep.
Going into every room and going, oh crap, I need a key. Where was the captain's office again? And then found out I'd already been there and was like, why didn't I see the key the first time? And I wonder if it was there, or if it magically appears after you need it. Just hanging there on the wall. For some reason, I didn't think it would be first person. So I'm pretty happy about it because I bet you could probably switch to third, but did you find a gun?
Yes.
Did you use it? Because I didn't.
I have not used it because I will tell you that
I didn't want to alert anybody.
Right.
I'm guessing a gun would
that's a
alert
huge
people.
part of it.
Yeah. I'm like, oh great, this is stealth.
It is stealth. Early in the Vatican level, I walked down this hallway, and there was a dude, and he had a billy club. And to disarm him, you bullwhip him, and they drop whatever they're holding. So I bullwhipped this guy, but the bullwhip crack is loud. So I bullwhipped this guy, and then I just heard, what was that? And like 3 more dudes ran into the room, and I was like, oh no. So now I'm afraid to use anything that makes noise because every time I've made any noise, I just get jumped by a bunch of black shirts, and it's very annoying.
I think I played for about an hour and a half when I got home last night, and the alarm I didn't set the alarm off till like near the end of the thing. I managed to, and one of my bodies got discovered.
That was a big problem too.
Because finding a place to hide a body, and then while you're moving with the body, the fact that you get tired.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And also I've found what I consider a glitch. When you get the bandages, then I can't figure out how to go back to my weapon. So I'm sitting there, I was getting punched in the face. I'm like, I'm trying to shake the bandages off.
This is what I found out. When you bring up the equip wheel, it's left is gun, down is
bandage,
and it puts bandages and food.
Yeah.
But once you have that equipped, then you just got to push down on the D-pad, and it just rotates through them without having you open the wheel back.
Right.
So
but how do you switch back to your weapon? I couldn't switch back to my weapon.
You have to open the equip wheel and push right.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I will say that. I don't love that.
I got 2 guys punching me in the face, and I'm doing this with bandages. I'm like, okay, why can't I punch him with a bandage in my hand? It's a bandage.
So I stayed up late last night. Too late last night. Watching Monday Night Football because it was Monday night. and there was football. And with the conclusion of the college football regular season and championship weekend this past weekend, with the conclusion of college football's regular season, Zoe, I had my existential moment of, we're almost done with football. Now, we're not. The national championship in college football isn't until January 20th. We have another month and a half until we award a natty. The Super Bowl next year is what? It's like February 9th. So we're 2 months from the Super Bowl. We have a lot of football left to play. But last night was the first time that I was kind of like, oh, man, like we're kind of nearing football season's conclusion. So now is the point where Rob Brown becomes an absolute football junkie and starts making decisions that impact my health and well-being negatively in order to scratch the old itch, in order to get the next fix of football. And I'm going to get everything I can. Thursday night, don't call me, don't text me. Unless you're saying, Rob Brown, I'm coming over for some whiskey and some footy. Don't call me, don't text me. I'm watching football. When the bowls start up, I don't care that bowl games are glorified exhibitions. I don't care. I don't care that the best players aren't playing. I don't care that the transfer portal is open and we've already got superstars that are moving team to team. I don't care. I'm watching every bowl game that I can get my beady little eyeballs on because I'm running out of football. So I'm going to watch them all. So my addiction kicked in last night. I'm like, I got to watch the Monday Night Football. And as I was hanging out in the bro cave, the lady came back from a work trip. It was rainy, gross. So it was one of those nights where it's like, I'm going to take my pants off and just watch football. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you were watching Monday Night Football and you see Rob Brown come across your timeline, recognize there's a 99.9% chance if you reply to me, you are applying to a Rob Brown who's not wearing pants.
Okay, I don't know why that was necessary. I think that's implied for a lot of people.
Because I need the people to know that I am indeed a man of the people.
Okay.
All right. So I'm watching the game with the lady, pantsless, as a grown man has the prerogative to do. And as I'm scrolling the Twitter feed, trying to find some sound bites to play in the audio blitz today so I don't just have to lay on the horn the whole time, I get a clip of Homer Simpson dropping back in the pocket and throwing an absolute dart to CeeDee Lamb in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. Homer Simpson's got a cannon. I went, oh, that's right. Simpsons broadcast. You know what? Bleep it. Let me go find out. Let me go see. Let me go check it out. Let me go take a look at this thing. And I got to tell you, wasn't bad. No, I didn't watch every bit of it. I didn't tune in until like the late first quarter. I didn't really tune in for all the pregame. I kind of wish I would have now because there was some good stuff. Like, for instance, Mo from Mo's Tavern giving a pregame speech to the Cowboys.
Okay, listen up, meatwads. It ain't often I'm asked to be motivational. No, I am more the cautionary tale type. But today, I want you toilet tanks of talent to approach this game like you're me fighting a pigeon for a French fry. Sure, the opponent's gonna peck your fingers and maybe talon your eyes out. But if you hang on, if you bear down, you all could walk away with something salty and still with ketchup on it, maybe. Now, let's go crumble up them Bengals and scatter their bits around like that poison that is supposed to take care of roaches, but it never does. It doesn't, but you is. Let's go.
I'm hype. I'm ready to run through a wall for Mo. By the way, can we give some props to Hank Azaria? Just an absolute legend and icon in the entertainment industry, voicing Mo for like 1,000 years. He also voices comic book guy.
Yeah, I accidentally watched the end of Godzilla, the one with Matthew Broderick and Hank Azaria.
That's right. Hank Azaria is in that.
Yeah, he's the cameraman.
Yes, he is.
And it's like, look, he did so much better after this.
I kind of have a soft
Actually,
spot
he was
for
doing
that movie.
it during that too. I don't.
I kind of have a soft spot for
the
the movie.
effects are
It's
so
not
bad.
good.
It's
I
so
agree.
bad.
It's not good. but I have a soft spot for a Matthew Broderick knockoff Dollar General Godzilla movie. Sure, why not? Anyway, I tuned in and watched it. You had some fun moments like that. One of my favorites, just as a Simpson fan, was Barney holding up a sign that said, "How about them Cowboys?" and Lisa walking over with the red marker and correcting the grammar to "How about them Cowboys?" That was spectacular. That was spectacular. Now, I want to get into the game a little bit later. But I want to have a conversation about the concept of gimmicks in sports. It's a conversation that we have had in years gone by, and it's a conversation that we will always have. I had a conversation on Bet for the Cycle on the BetQL Network every Saturday from noon to 4 with your boy Rob Brown and former Major League Baseball player Cody Decker. And Deck and I were having this debate on Saturday. He said, "Rob Brown, I blame a lot of the problems in American society on professional wrestling." And I said, whoa, which is where I would have played the Rock sound clip, but I still haven't gotten access to my folder, so I don't have it. But I said, whoa, hold up, why? And he said, because we're turning everything into professional wrestling. Everything's about scripted drama and all that now. And I said, whoa, hold your horses, time out. That's not a fault of professional wrestling. It's the way entertainment works. And we have become a nation that values entertainment over everything else. We value entertainment over education. We value entertainment over work. We value entertainment over our health. And I'm guilty of it too. I should be going to the gym for an hour and a half every day. Is that what I do? No. I sit at home and I watch football and I scroll TikTok and whatever, okay? We value entertainment. It just happens to be that wrestling figured out the entertainment formula. They figured out the perfect blend of live and theater and jammed them together and made it one. It's no different than movies. Why is there so much of a formula for movies nowadays? Because you buy tickets, because we value entertainment over anything else, okay? So, on one hand, I kind of do view that as a bit of a problem. On one hand, I really think the turnaround of the United States of America comes when we get to the point that we start to value education over entertainment, when we start to value hard work over entertainment, but we're just not there right now. Okay, so this is why I think we are.
Real quick, he's still wrong. It's what's wrong. It's Real Housewives of whatever.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the same thing. How many times have I said wrestling is bro opera? It's the same thing. It's just that we prefer big dudes in their undergarments fake fighting each other, and the wife prefers two ladies fake fighting over a fake husband in a fake LA mansion. It's all fake. It's just that wrestling, which uses the same generic formula as soap operas that have hooked women for 100,000 years, and politics. Does anybody here want to argue with me that politics aren't theater nowadays? Politics is theater now. There's no politicians actually doing anything worth a damn. They just get on TV and act and then ask you for your money for it, just like professional wrestlers, just like actors, right? Everything is entertainment. It's just that wrestling did a wonderful job of figuring out the niche of the entertainment world and developing a formula that works. So it should not come as a shock to you that so many sports are working on gimmicks now, that so many sports put out for one time only or once every now and then, whatever, these gimmicks. This was my problem, for instance, with the golden at-bat rule in Major League Baseball. They were ready to fundamentally change the game of baseball. One of my favorite melodies. Is it boring to a lot of you? Yes. Do I give a damn? Not really. One of my favorite things about baseball is the tactics and the strategy and the planning that managers have to have. They have to be thinking 6, 9 outs ahead of where they are in the lineup. When they make a move to go with a pinch hitter or a pinch runner or to change pitchers out or whatever, it's not just about this moment. They got a chess match 8, 9, 10 outs ahead of where they are. If I make this shift now, if I change this pitcher now, that means that I got this guy coming up 7 outs from now. He's a lefty who likes to go to the short porch and right. I got to have a righty available. I got to set that up now. So when you go golden at bat, And for those of you who don't know what that is, first off, congratulations. Second off, the concept is a Major League Baseball team could send any player they want up to the dish for an at-bat anytime that they want.
Going to be so awesome when that happens.
No, it's going to be dumb as hell, and I hate it. It's going to be so dumb that I almost said dumb as an actual bad word I can't say right there. That's how much I hate it. All right?
Yeah, don't make me have to move really fast.
I don't want you
That'd be
to.
a bad idea.
And I don't want to get in trouble for it. But I almost said dumb as bleep is what I almost said right there, because it is, okay? Listen, part of the beauty of baseball is not just the 9 guys playing defense and the 1 guy at bat and the however many guys on the bags. It's also the guy in the dugout holding the clipboard or the I guess we're doing tablets now, whatever, that's running the stats and all that and trying to figure out what's the right time to make the right move for the right person in the right position on the diamond. And now you're telling me you can just go, Aaron Judge goes out there, bottom of the 9th, 1 out, runner on, they're down 1. Aaron Judge goes out there with 1 out, and he strikes out. And then they go, golden at bat, Aaron Judge is going to hit again. No, I don't want that. If you're able to get through Aaron Judge, that is exactly how it works.
I don't think so.
Lonzo, that's exactly how it works. I don't care if you think it's how it works, and I'm telling you that's how it works.
Just bring a guy in and go, that guy's batting next. I don't think the same guy gets to bat twice.
They can use any player on the active roster in any at-bat. If a guy Ks, they can send that guy right back for his second consecutive at-bat.
Sounds like a rule that just wasn't clarified yet that you believe in was something.
Lonzo, you think the baseball guy didn't spend hours ranting about this on Saturday? I read every word of Rob Manfred's dumbass explanation of how this works. That's exactly what it is. That you understand how it is so dumb that you don't believe it's real. That's how dumb it is.
Yeah, you still haven't convinced me.
I don't care. You're wrong. I'm right. This is how it is written. It is so dumb that Lonzo thinks it's fake. That's how dumb it is. Okay? Gimmicks in sports can be okay. But the gimmick can't fundamentally impact the sport. If they want to do a Simpsons game, great. There's nothing bad about that. I saw a bunch of people complaining about it on Twitter. Why do we have to just play about that? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't impact you. The same number of people are watching. Maybe a handful of my buddies that are drunk frat boys who haven't grown up yet, that love the Simpsons still, maybe they tuned in. Maybe they got hooked. Probably not. It was a real crap game. But maybe they got hooked, right? That's fine. Where I'm going to draw the line is when you start gimmicking in a way that changes the sport fundamentally. If golf, this is the comparison I use for golf, the match. I doubt Lonzo's watched a round of golf tournament with the exception of the match over the past couple of years. And I'm sure he's not alone in that.
All right, you're wrong, but I get why you would say that. I watched some of the Masters.
Okay, the Masters, because the Masters is the Super Bowl of golf. Just like a bunch of people don't watch a single NFL game, but they watch the Super Bowl. That's the Masters.
I try to watch things that you might talk about too.
Sure, 100%.
I mean,
you're outside the norm in that world.
You don't really talk a lot of golf, but you do talk Masters.
I want to.
Okay.
You want to talk Farmers Open Championship? Because I'm all in. It's just not a needle mover. I'm not dumb. I know how the game gets played. I know how the cheese gets made, so to speak. All that being said, gimmicks fine. Gimmicks that directly change the game, that's where it's not fine. If the NFL wants to run a Simpsons game, that's fine. If baseball wants to, I hope baseball tries this one time. I hope baseball, which by the way, had last year one of the best MLB seasons since I was a child. Great regular season, maybe the best October of my lifetime. Spectacular playoff run for all of Major League Baseball. Wonderful playoff run. And then they turn around and they immediately go, yeah, but then we're going to fundamentally change the game. Why? To script drama? No. This is one of the problems I have when there are moments that are impacted by refs, that are impacted by bad calls, that are impacted by whatever. At the end of the day, we love sports because of the drama that inherently and naturally comes out of competition. Just let that carry you. You want to throw Homer Simpson in there? Don't. I'm fine with that. But Rob, you can't do this. You can't fundamentally and manically change the game to script fake drama. There's plenty enough of it as it is. Stop. Let baseball be baseball, my guy. When we come back, water cooler, cheat sheet, top 3 sports stories. You need to know this AM. We'll play. I think we're going to bring back faces and heels today. It's been a minute. I keep saying it. We just never get to it. We'll find out all that and more after Lonzo seduces you with his sports flash.
Yeah, I hope they do breaking news to let us know when the golden bat's going to be used. Then I'll tune in just for that. Jamar Chase caught 177
responding to
of Joe Burrow's 369 passing yards and 2 of his 3 touchdown passes as the Bengals knocked off the Cowboys 27-20 last night. Former South Carolina Gamecock Rico Dowdle turned in 131 rushing yards for the Cowboys in the losing effort as the Cowboys fell to 1-6 at home. Carolina Panthers rookie running back Jonathan Brooks has torn the same ACL that sidelined him during his final season at Texas. According to team sources, Brooks will undergo surgery to determine the severity of the tear and repair it, though the date of surgery and timeline for possible return haven't been specified. Tune in Saturday at 11:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the South Carolina State Bulldogs. It's Furman versus SC State right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, Upstate.
Right here in Greenville, Casey and his team of licensed health insurance experts can help you find a health plan for 2025 that fits you and your budget. Time is running out to secure your coverage for January 1st. Schedule your no-cost appointment today at scbluehereforyou.com.
Can you smell it? That smoky, salty, delicious aroma of bacon. The 5th annual Bourbon and Bacon Fest is back. Friday, January 17th at the Foundry at Judson Mill in downtown Greenville with over 100 delicious bourbons and bacon-themed bites from your favorite restaurants. Bourbon and Bacon Fest benefits Carolina Chapter Golf by VIP, GA, and designated driver tickets by texting the word bacon to 72341 or visit bourbonandbaconfest.com. Text and data rates may apply.
I sure don't want to spend another holiday sitting around watching football.
We're going to the Upstate Holiday Light Show at District Park.
What's that?
Imagine 32 million lights, carnival rides, a petting zoo, a 600-foot light tunnel, a gigantic Christmas tree, a huge.
Oh my gosh, I've got to tell Bob about this. The kids will have a blast.
We go every year and it's open 7 days a week.
The Upstate Holiday Light Show, open now at District Park at the intersection of 123 and 153. Visit upstatelights.com.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunkt America, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing e-bike scene with Blue.com. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes are perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on 2 wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1.
When it comes to the best sports talk,
What in the world?
Fan Upstate on Odyssey, no matter where you are.
Oh, this chair's cooked. That's exciting.
Search the Fan Upstate and you're in the game. Hey, now we roll. The Fan Upstate. When it comes to the best sports talk, listen to the Fan Upstate on Odyssey, no matter where you are. In the car, at home, at work. Download the free Odyssey app on your phone. Search the Fan Upstate and you're in the game. Hey, now we roll. The Fan Upstate.
WORD Spotlight.
WFPZ HD3 Philadelphia, official sports voice of the Upstate Fan.
teams.
Odyssey Sports Nation.
Man, check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being brand.
Yeah. Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. Lockdown. This is the Rob Brown Show. Yeah. Rob only.
The Rob Brown Show, hour number 2 starts right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday, AM. Inching ever closer to the weekend, to the Christmas season, inching ever closer to the college football playoffs. What a wonderful time to be alive, except if you're a Dallas Cowboys fans. They're not feeling great. We'll talk about that here in just mere moments from now, because it's just about time for the water cooler cheat sheet.
Did you do a wellness check on Cole and make sure he's good?
I did not, because I assumed that Cole's phone was likely at like the bottom of a fishing pond last night, or like laying in the middle of an interstate last night, because the Dallas Cowboys decided to lose the game in the most Dallas Cowboys way, putting the L. You can't spell Dallas Cowboys without LOL. Goodness gracious. What an absolute and complete meltdown. They had that game won last night. Well, real close to it. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a moment or two from right now, because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Maniacal laugh. That's a reference to the Muppets movie. Great flick. Great movie. Jason Segel did an excellent job with that.
There's been many Muppet movies, so
yeah, but that one's called The Muppet Movie. Wonderful movie.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the one where
I was joking.
I sure am, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that one was called The Muppet. Yeah, well, I'm right. Oh, there was a Muppet movie from 1979 too.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because that was like the first one, and I saw that one. And
that one was called The Muppets. The Jason Segel one was just called The Muppets. The Muppet movie was 1979. Fact check yourself, people. Learn. Texture said, first thing I want on my ear hole in the AM is the word butthole. Said no one ever. Dap, I don't know what to tell you. I had to Google it this morning, and I'll tell you why coming up here in just a little while. It's going to be ridiculous. You're going to love it. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out. What I do know you're going to love is the fact that every morning at 7 o'clock, you can tune into the Rob Brown Show, and Lonzo and I are going to lay out the 3 most important sports conversations you're going to have at work today when we do this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
"You hear that?"
Yeehaw! Before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It is the water cooler cheat sheet. It is the top 3 sports stories you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports with your coworkers this AM. Once thou dost, this is what thou shalt be talking about this AM. Item number 1. We mentioned it just moments ago, but the Dallas Cowboys lost last night in the most Dallas Cowboys way possible.
All right, here's the punt by Ryan Rako. Oh, got it. Ball is blocked. Got it. Oh, the Cowboys touch it. The Bengals are going to have the ball. Oh, no. You can't touch it when it's blocked beyond the line of scrimmage, and the Bengals are going to have it at the 45.
Oh, somewhere Leon Lett is saying, I'm off the hook.
That's the exact play without the snow.
Oh, no. That did not just happen.
That did just happen. That was a clean block by Nick Vigil.
On a kick play, the ball was touched by the receiving team beyond the line and then recovered by the kicking team. As soon as they recover the ball, it is dead. We ruled on the field it's Cincinnati's ball, First down.
It was Cincinnati's ball. Cincinnati would then take it down to the other end, score a go-ahead tutty to make it 27-7. Dallas would get the ball back and completely poop all over their own selves and lose the game. I mean, as spectacular of a failure as I have seen in a long, long time. And I do, to some degree, like 0.043%, kind of feel bad for Dallas fans because the cat who touched the ball, Armani Oruiari, I'll get that one eventually, is like a recent signing off the practice squad. Like I don't know if that was his NFL debut, but I also know he was a practice squad guy who got called in to fill in a gap on the roster, ended up touching the ball. Had he just left it alone. When I was in high school, and I was on special teams because that's where the average players got their play time, was on special teams. When I was a special teams guy, whenever we had a moment like that, where you got to get away from the ball, Lonzo, we used to yell, Peter, Peter, Peter. Why?
So you were the Peter guy.
I was absolutely the guy who ran down the field yelling, Peter, Peter, Peter.
So I'm guessing that coaches come up with stuff like that because it's just such a weird thing to yell. Nobody in the crowd's going to be yelling that unless their kid's name is Peter.
That's not why. We yelled it because if somebody pulls out a Peter, you better run away from it. That was literally why we did it in high school.
Talking about a gun.
Mm-mm. You can try to save me. I'm committed to the bit.
Yeah, well,
okay?
I mean,
I'm committed to the bit.
I should have dumped that.
No, why? That's a guy's name. Peter Dinklage. He's a small Peter. Like it's a guy's name. I don't know why that's a bad thing. So the Dallas Cowboys lose.
Please don't make my nightmare come true.
I was proud of that. I came up with that one on the fly. I was pretty proud of that. What was the guy's name who never mind. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let that one go. No, I'm not. Peter Mayhew played Chewbacca. Big Peter. I can't help myself. I'm a bad person and I can't help myself. I don't know what you want. All right?
I refuse to participate in this.
Anyway, they lose in the most hilarious possible way to the Dallas Cowboys because that's just what this season is for them. There was not much better than the absolute and entire meltdown that Micah Parsons had on the sideline. He was not okay. He was not okay last night. So Dallas ends up with that L, dropping to most of the losses and a couple of the wins. Cincinnati's not much better, but I do want to, once again, point out Cincinnati's offense is fine. Not just fine, Cincinnati's offense is good. Joe Burrow had 369 nice yards last night, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And Bengals couldn't really run the ball, only 58 yards from Chase Brown. They had 74 total, but they're banged up in the backfield. You always knew this was going to be a game that Joey B was going to threaten 50 passing attempts. He threw it 44 times. The Bengals offense is good enough to win a Super Bowl. They just have an embarrassing defense. That's just all there is to it. All right, let's move on to item numero dos. Your 4 Heisman Trophy finalists were named yesterday evening during the College Football Awards show. They are Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel, Colorado athlete Travis Hunter, Boise State running back Ashton Janty, and Miami quarterback Cam Ward. Those 4 will be headed to the Downtown Athletic Club this Saturday night to find out who is taking home the trophy and is named via 900 voters nationally as the #1 most outstanding college football player in America. Gabriel, a senior quarterback who transferred from Oklahoma in the offseason, led the unbeaten and top-ranked Ducks to the Big Ten championship in their first season in the conference. They are also the number 1 overall seed in the college football playoff. Gabriel, averaging 274 passing yards per game, has thrown 28 touchdown passes with 6 interceptions, and has a 73.2% completion percentage. Good for number 2 in the country. 35 total touchdowns, tied for 7th nationally, and his career total of 187 tutties is the highest in the history of the NCAA. Travis Hunter, one of the greatest two-way players of all time, being compared to what Charles Woodson, the Michigan cornerback who won in 1997, did, but he played primarily defense. Travis Hunter's done it both and pretty much been split. Travis Hunter's offensive production dwarfs the offensive production of Charles Woodson. Selected all Big 12 first-team wide receiver, earned honorable mention for Offensive Player of the Year, leads the Big 12 with 92 receptions and 14 receiving touchdowns, second with over 1,150 yards and 21 receiving plays of 20-plus yards, leads the nation. He's also the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year and a unanimous first-team defensive back, recording 31 tackles, which ties him for the Big 12 lead, has 11 pass breakups, tied for second with 4 interceptions. And there's Ashton Jeanty, a junior running back, one of the most productive seasons in college football history, 2,497 yards rushing, the 4th highest single-season total in FBS history, 192.1 yards per game as a running back, lead the nation, and are 58 more than the next highest average this season. Jeanty has rushed for 125 yards in 13 consecutive games and has gone over 200 yards in his past 2 games, a total of 6 times this season, averaging 7.26 yards per carry, has 344 rushing attempts, the most in FBS in the last 2 seasons. And then there's Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami, selected AP Offensive Player of the Year and Newcomer of the Year in the ACC Monday, leads the nation with a school record 36 passing touchdowns, 4,123 passing yards, 4,319 total yards, 343.6 passing yards per game, and 41 total touchdowns, ranks second in NCAA football this year. Also leads the nation's highest scoring offense, the Canes, averaging 44.2 points per game, and became the first Miami quarterback to post 7 straight 300-yard games ever, has 10 games with 300-plus yards, and threw 3 or more touchdown passes in 10 games as well. Look, the projected order of finish is going to be Travis Hunter 1, Ashton Jeanty 2, Cam Ward 3, and Dylan Gabriel 4th. That's just how it's going to shape up. We will talk more Heisman Trophy. I actually really like this year's race, specifically at the top. The 2 guys up top I find very, very interesting. Let's get to item number 3. I went back and forth on where this was going to land, but I'm going to go with this one. I don't necessarily know that this is one that a ton of you care about, but I do think it is a massive news story in the landscape of collegiate football. Carson Beck, his injury was not revealed yesterday, just that he is dealing with an elbow injury. There are no further details. On top of there being no further details, Georgia said nothing about his availability. Georgia said nothing about whether or not he would be available for the second round game that Georgia will play in. They are obviously on the bye after becoming SEC champions, but I can't imagine a world in which Carson Beck is anything less than really hurt if they didn't give any details at all. Now, there is obviously a possibility. Obviously a possibility that this is a ploy as much to get people worried as it is about protecting him and his injury from becoming public notice. There is the possibility it goes one of 2 directions. Carson Beck ain't that dinged up, and Kirby Smart and the gang are just playing head games. Head games. It's you and me, baby. To not let the winner of Indiana Notre Dame know which quarterback they got to prepare for. Or there's the opposite, which is Carson Beck's done for the season, and they're just going to keep that information to themselves as long as possible. Now, I don't think it matters all that much because I think Indiana Notre Dame is a very interesting game in round one, and I do not think that there is a 0% chance that the Indiana Hoosiers walk out of there with the dub over the Irish of Notre Dame. But I have no idea what to make out of the news that dropped from the camp of the Georgia Bulldogs last night. I have no idea if Carson Beck is going to be available or not. What I am going to say is Georgia has the second shortest odds in the land to win the national championship. Keep in mind, the Oregon Ducks are on the top half of the bracket. The bottom half of the bracket is SMU, Penn State, Boise State, Indiana, Notre Dame, and Georgia. Lonzo, if everybody in that bracket is 100% healthy, Georgia is the faraway favorite to win it, right? Like I can't put anybody else in there. I'm intrigued by Marcus Freeman's Irish. I'm intrigued by Penn State, but they're held back by James Franklin. I think, honestly, Georgia's got about as good of a path to the national championship as you could have possibly ever asked for. But if Carson Beck is out, if Carson Beck is unavailable, that bottom bracket is wide ass open.
When they had to bring him back in for that last, his arm was hanging. It was hanging there. No, I mean, medicine has advanced a great deal in the last 5 years, probably. But I don't know if you fix whatever that is.
No idea. I am not a doctor, nor did I stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night. You know what I am? A guy who knows ball. If Carson Beck's unavailable for the Georgia Bulldogs, SMU, Penn State, Boise State, Indiana, and Notre Dame all become that much more likely to be a shock team to make it to a semifinal and perhaps a final. All right, we'll talk more college football as we move forward with the bracket. We have got a lot more we got to talk about on the radio program today. So if you want to get in, now's the time to do it. The renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone is right there for you. 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE. You can text to 71307 on the text line, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. You can tweet me at The Rob Brown Show, tweet Lonzo at Lonzo one word, tweet us all at The Fan Upstate, and hit the Ray Memorial text line by going to the Odyssey app, the Fan Upstate page, clicking the circle button with a microphone in it, and leaving that 60-second voice note. Dan just made a Peter Pan joke on the thread. I'm not going to read it, but, Dinklage, Mayhew, and Pan. Yeah, it's probably for the best. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, guys, quick live, and we're coming back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around.
It's got to be time-free and gentle.
Why pay more for prescription? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com. Show the coupon at the pharmacy and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide, and it's completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Hey guys, it's Jim Costa from Cash the Ticket. If you're planning on betting college football bowl games,
Oh, well, hello there, and welcome back.
you don't want to be hurting your bankroll. You want to make sure you're doing your homework. Listen to Cash the Ticket. Mike Valenti and I will be breaking down every single bowl game, dropping new episodes nearly every day throughout college football's postseason. Spicing things up with a 12-team playoff. Can't wait to see some of those teams from the South come up north for the snow. Be sure to subscribe to Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. The South Carolina Education Lottery encourages all of their players to learn about your play before you pay, to learn how the odds work, common lottery myths, and the signs of problem gambling. Check out sceducationlottery.com/betteryou. Playing the lottery for fun is a win for education.
Can't wait to hear what's next on Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel.
Tell me what's coming up. Can my Dallas Cowboys give me any hope in Monday
Nope.
before they head to Charlotte? And what's a big game?
Well, signing day is over, and the transfer portal is decimating some teams. Who's being hit the hardest?
And we talked a lot about the college football playoffs. What are our early leads?
Diesel and Cole Bryson really bring it on Wire to Wire.
Turn it on and leave it on.
Afternoons 3 to 7 on the Fan Upstate.
Always streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey app. Make the
TheFanUpstate.com, ladies and gentlemen, is right there for you. And not only is it available 24/7, 365 to stream the station and the show, but every hour of the show gets posted on the website, meaning if you miss an hour, no, you didn't. Go to TheFanUpstate.com. Go to the top where the podcast section is, drop it down, select the Rob Brown Show, and you, my dear friends, can go back and listen to any hour that you may have missed at your leisure and on demand. It really is that simple. So, I do want to have a conversation about some comments made by Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell. Jay, yesterday, got in front of a microphone doing a press conference, and the transfer portal window is officially open. Players can go ahead and jump in now. As you heard Diesel in an advertisement just mere moments ago for our afternoon hit show, Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel. He said the transfer portal is open and it is starting to decimate some teams. I don't know if Diesel's being exaggerative or if he genuinely feels that way. Stay tuned for Wire to Wire this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. to find out. But what I can say right now is this. Better figure out how to recruit the kids. Better figure out how to talk the kids into wanting to be a part of your program. Better figure out how it is that you're going to put together an NIL collective that can keep the kids from getting contacted and going somewhere else. Why? Jay Norvell explains.
And these independent agents call these schools up that they know have money. And they say, you know, what if Kevin gets in the portal? How much would you pay him? Oh, I'll pay him $150,000. And they'll go to the next school. what if Kevin got in the portal? What would you pay him? Oh, I'd give him 175. And then another school might say, oh, I'll give him 200. So now this independent agent DMs Kevin and says, call me. I got some deals for you. And then they talk and he goes, if you get in the portal, I can get you $200,000. Okay. And it's hard for a kid, you know, when he hears that. And so these kids are not thinking about getting in the portal. But when they have these people call them and say, if you get in the portal, I'll give you $200,000, you know. And by the way, I'm going to take 15, 20% of that. And so these guys are just stealing from these kids. An NFLPA agent gets 3%. A lot of these agents that are talking to all of our players, they're taking 10, 15, 20%. And that's really criminal, really. But that's what's going on in college football. And as much as we try to tell our players that and educate them, you know, when somebody's offering you that kind of money, it's still hard for these kids. Okay. And so, you know, that just kind of gives you an idea of what's happening, and it's unfortunate. And like I said, we talked to our top 26 kids. They all have been offered a lot of money.
So Jay Norvell says a couple of things there. Says, number one, there are independent agents out there that are calling around and saying, hey, if I was to theoretically get Kevin to go into the portal, how much would you be able to put on the table for Kevin? And he's gonna have schools bid, right? I'll give Kevin $100,000. I'll give Kevin $125. I'll give Kevin $200,000. All right, going once, going twice. Sold. $200,000. Kevin's coming to your school. But then they have to call Kevin and go, Kev, I got a deal for $200K. You interested in moving? And the point that Jay Norvell is making here is, if your phone rings and you got a guy that jumps on and goes, hey, contract here, $200,000 if you move over to this school, are you in? He says that's bad for the kids. Oh, no. I'll tell you right now, I'm pretty happy with where I am. I love the company I work for. I love the people I work with. I love the community I live in. But if I get a phone call tomorrow and somebody says, hey, Rob Brown, we'd like to offer you $250,000 to come do our radio show in this place that's not Greenville, South Carolina, it'd be a real hard spot to say no, right? Like, respectfully, I love it here. I met my wife here. I've met some of my best friends on planet Earth here. I love it here. I love the people I work with around. But if somebody made my phone ring today and said $250K to come out to Albuquerque and do the show, I might have to suffer through Albuquerque. There's only one place I'm saying no to go. And that is, sorry, Jason, the real butthole of America, Jacksonville, Florida. All right? Now, there is a number, as the $1 Million Man said, everybody's got a price. There is a number out there, I don't know what it is, that even gets me back to Jacksonville, Florida. I'd have to be able to afford to live on Jack's Beach, the only place in Jacksonville that's worth a crap. But you get the point. Any hoodles. The point here is, once again, as, let's see, Texter said, Lefty Tiger text said, Texter said, you mean better figure out how to bribe the kids and do it again next year when the price goes up. Texter said, are you preparing us for your departure? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
He's been saying that for years.
Yeah, that's just my example.
Still here. It's just he's blatantly saying he's for sale though. He's been doing that for years.
We're all for sale, pal. Everybody's got a price. There's a number on a paycheck that Miss Lisa's going, get the cardboard boxes out. We're taking a trip. All right. Somebody calls and offers you $1 billion to come produce the world's biggest radio station. Pretty sure Miss Lisa's going to say, get in the car, son.
Where's it at?
It doesn't matter for $1 billion.
What part of the hemisphere?
You put me in Nome, Alaska for $1 billion. All right. Everybody's got a price. Here's the point. If you went tomorrow and you said, hey, I need a haircut. And you went to the barber shop and you walked in, and your favorite barber who's been cutting your hair for 25 years says, "Hey, Jim, I got a phone call last night, and I'm sorry to tell you that a barber shop in Albuquerque, New Mexico called me, and they're going to offer me $250,000 to go cut fades in New Mexico. I'm gone." You wouldn't go, you shouldn't have that phone call dropped in your lap, right? You shouldn't have to answer. These kids can't handle it. You wouldn't say your barber can't handle the maturity of that decision. You wouldn't say that your plumber or your local terminator shouldn't be allowed to have the decision making.
Do you know what you just did there? You said your local terminator. I didn't know if, that they set up shop now and you can just hire a terminator.
Don't we aren't bug guys called terminators?
Exterminator, dude.
Nah, terminators.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it is exterminator. I'm just a gigantic moron. I don't know what you want. Look. Texas said, why Albuquerque? I'm making it up because Albuquerque sounds like the worst place to go besides Jacksonville. That's why.
Does it? I mean, the dry air and everything.
I have literally never heard anyone say anything good about Albuquerque. I can't say I've heard a bunch of people say anything specifically bad, but normally when you talk about places.
But I mean, other than that,
I don't think you have to be bilingual in New Mexico.
I think
it would certainly help.
I think you do.
They don't exclusively speak Spanish in New Mexico.
I don't know. I haven't been there. Have you?
But even if you do, so what? It's not a bad thing to be bilingual.
It's not a bad thing to be
I wish I was.
bilingual.
I need the Duolingo owl to get on my ass a little bit more and get me into gear. By the way, I got one the other day because I kind of got back into Duolingo. I need to get back to learning Spanish, but I got back into Duolingo the other day and I did like a 5-day streak of lessons. And you know what the message I got, the push notification said? It said, "I'm deadly serious. You're safe from the owl for now."
Okay, so
Duolingo is straight up threatening me to make me learn Spanish?
Yeah, because I don't know what that is. I mean, I think you're assuming that everyone knows what that is. And, when I think language, I think Rosetta Stone. So I don't think
Duolingo is like Rosetta Stone, but it's an app on your phone. And their little mascot is a little green owl who is kind of terrifying to keep it a buck. He's kind of scary. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Put all that aside. The point here is we are once again at a spot, my dear friends, where we have all these folks that have decided that 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, they're not mature enough to get a phone call for $200,000. And again, I asked the question, why is that the only group of people in America that we say that about? Only group of people in America. We say, nope. Yeah, you can, we're all fine. And again, I'm going to go ahead and upset some of you. We're all fine with 17-year-olds being able to sign up and put themselves in the military, but not get a phone call to say, we want you to take a big check from Bob's used cars.
17-year-olds can't join the military without parental consent. I'm still stuck on the 5 to 10%, 10-15%.
That was my big problem here.
Yeah. How does he know that? And if that is true, they're getting hosed. I mean, that's bad business, giving up 15% of your profit to some dude.
You, by the way, may join the Air Force, Army, and Coast Guard at 17. I was right. Yeah. So
did you see parental consent?
That is the age in which you can enlist.
That's weird.
It is what it is. But they're not responsible enough to get money. That's where we draw the line. Blah, 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 blah. Aside. Jay Norvell did bring up something that I am interested in, which is agents asking 15 to 20% of a kid's NIL take. That's a problem. Now, all I'm going to do.
Unless you're an agent.
That is great. All I'm saying here is, you guys remember like a very long time ago when this whole conversation came down the pipe and I said, put the regulations in now. Put the regulations in right now so that this type of thing can be handled. You didn't do it. And yes, while I think kids should be able to take NIL, the fact that they are being predated on by agents like this is kind of a bummer. It's kind of a bummer. We'll talk about what possible fixes might be coming down the pipe as the show progresses. Phone lines open, 844-326-3663. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. I'm flattered, Luke. Thank you.
Oh, it's not true because I would have a problem with that.
Did a
Man, I gotta go.
did a double take on December 10th. I don't
Rob
know
Brown
what-
Show. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know what to tell you. It hurts my head a lot.
Okay, I'll send an email to the promotions department, and they still have time. I mean, they should be able to get to you before the tickets. I don't know why you're the second person to call and say that, so I will get a hold of them today when they get in the office. Again, once I give the tickets, it's out of my hands, but I will ask them why. All right, thanks. Yep.
My bet is they'll send them all out on Thursday. Like collective.
The instructions on the thing say within 24
Yeah.
hours.
Give me 45 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. Got to take care. What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing this around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around.
Call tax relief helpers now to learn about our tax debt reduction programs and how to stop the collection efforts. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or years of unpaid taxes, even if you're already in a payment plan, we can help. There's special IRS.
Yes, they are working on that. That is Rob Manfred's goal this offseason, Jacob, is hopefully, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Amazon Prime. It's just one of the streaming services will likely end up getting a deal with MLB. It will be at a subscription cost, but again, I genuinely don't mind. If I got to pay, an extra $20 a month, and it means I'm not going to be blacked out of games, I can just watch every game, even Wednesday at 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm all in. I'll pay that subscription cost. That's what I genuinely hope happens. So we'll see. I don't know, Mike. Is picking bowl games worth the time, honestly? Is it worth the time? I don't know.
Only the 12.
Who, Zach? You talking about Travis? You talking about Janty? Who are we talking about here? Because the answer is player to player.
I do wonder what position Hunter will play in the NFL.
I mean, he's an all defensive, all American defensive back. I do want to be clear about one thing in this conversation we're having. If you missed it in the last segment, I played you a clip from Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell. Sorry, we're talking about Heisman players in our live stream, which you can join, by the way, at facebook.com/thefanupstate by searching and subscribing to The Fan Upstate on YouTube, or searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. All the different ways to watch our live stream, which we do every day of the week, all 4 hours of the show. You, my dear, dear friends, are welcome. These two handsome faces on your computer screens every morning. Gosh, How could you possibly have a better start to the day? You can't. You're welcome. So, played you the clip from Jay Norvell. Jay said two things. Jay said, numero uno, that players are getting phone calls from independent agents after those agents have called schools, collectives, and said, hey, if I can talk player X into coming to your school, how much would you be willing to pay him? And effectively just putting the feelers out for the players to find out how much NIL money they could possibly end up with. And then after they find out who the highest bidder is, they then call the player and say, hey, man, if you'll pop into the portal and you will allow me to get you signed up to go play for XYZ State University, you'll get $250,000, $500,000, $1 million, whatever the case is. Jay Norvell says that's a bit of a problem, right? And again, I would too if I was a football coach, right? I've said for years, of course, football coaches are going to be almost unanimously outspoken in opposition to the transfer portal because it makes their jobs that much harder. I'm not under any disillusion that football coaches probably hate the portal, right? I'm going to go back to the old days where I recruit a kid out of high school and then he's just on my team. Not he's on my team until he decides that he doesn't like being on my team anymore and then he's not on my team and he can just leave. No, I got to recruit him again every season. I have quadrupled the amount of recruiting I got to do. Not only do I have to recruit kids out of high school, not only do I have to recruit kids out of the portal, but I got to recruit the kids on my own team to stay on my team for sure. I got to recruit fans to give to the collective so that there's the money to keep these people on board. I've got to be a part of that. And yeah, of course, coaches don't want to have to do that. That's a lot of extra work. I'm sure it's quite annoying. Tis what it is, as I've said many times on the show. Guess who else that happens to? Everyone in business. Everyone. If you have an employee who goes out and kicks a whole bunch of booty, I mean, just efficient, effective, does good work, does it quickly, makes your business more profitable, eventually that employee is going to end up on the radar of other businesses. And those other businesses may go, hey, Jack from accounting, we'll pay you 20% more than what the company you are currently working for is willing to pay. And Jack may very well go, great, I can start on Monday. Unless he works for a company that says, tell you what, Jack, we'll match it. Or a company that has created such a wonderful culture and maybe allows Jack to benefit in other ways. Jack gets 2 weeks of vacation above and beyond what he would normally get. And he values that 2 weeks of vacation more than he values the money. Or perhaps Jack has great health insurance provided by the place he works. And Jack goes, I can't give up this health insurance plan. It's too beneficial to me and my wife and my life. Both. I got to stick around here. Or maybe Jack loves the ownership or the management of the business that he works for. And he goes, yeah, I can make more money, but I really like the guy I work for. And since I really like the guy I work for, I ain't going nowhere. Or Jack could go, yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to go over there. And none of y'all get really mad about that. But you do when it's college. Why? Because it impacts you directly. This is one of the issues that I have. Soapbox time. We deal with a lack of empathy in this country. A lot of people don't care about certain situations until it directly impacts them. Then it becomes a huge deal. Not when it's other people's problems, but when it's my problem, now it's a big deal. So I am empathetic to players who have to sit down and make a decision. Do I stay with the coach who recruited me? Do I stay with the school who recruited me? Or do I go make a life-changing amount of money by jumping in the portal? I also, and this is where I kind of go to the other side and sound like a heartless S of a B. These agents, if Jay Norvell is telling the truth, and these agents are indeed taking 15, 20% of the money that they negotiate for players to pop in the portal and go to a new school, do I think it's gross? Sure. There's no rule against it. There could have been. You could have laid out the arguments and the guidelines at the very beginning of this whole thing. You could have laid all of that out at the beginning, but you failed to do so.
There still can be.
There still can be, except here is the problem. You don't really have anymore a ground to stand on. Anything you do is going to be challenged, and that includes agent regulations. Do you think for a second that if the NCAA tomorrow said, here's the rules regarding agents, and put some regulations down, that those same agents wouldn't sue the NCAA? Of course they would. They would say, whoa. You can regulate the rules on the football field. You can regulate the rules school to school, provided the schools agree to it. What you're not going to do is regulate the impact that you have on my business, life, well-being. And they're going to sue the pants off of them.
Couldn't you regulate it by passing a new rule saying all agents must go through a representative of the school first?
It's going to be challenged legally.
And then the representative of the school can make sure that the kids are getting a fair deal.
Once again, it's going to be challenged legally. It is going to go through months, if not years, of litigation from agents who are going to say, who in the hell are you to tell us what we need to do in order to do a job that we have been doing? The NFL did this when they started putting it together. This is part of the multiple CBAs that the NFL has signed with players, with agents, with unions that represent every person who has an NFL job connection. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a fight. So again, this simply circles back around to the conversation that we had when the whole portal argument started up. That is, put the rules down now. We can circle back around to them later. We can circle back around later to these are good rules, these are bad rules. We challenge these rules, we fight these rules, whatever. We can circle back around to that. But put them down now. And you didn't. Knowing that eventually litigation was going to rule the day. Do I think if Jay Norvell is telling the truth, and for the sake of the conversation, let's assume that he is. Again, I think coaches, and this may shock you, I think some coaches might lie. I think some coaches
come on,
might lie.
Come on. It's a very honest profession. They don't do that.
I think these coaches might lie in order for their argument to have more weight. They may tell some fibs, some little harmless white lies because they're anti-portal. Of course they're anti-portal. I don't blame them for being anti-portal. I would love to be anti-portal if I was a football coach. Of course, I don't want to make my job more difficult. Of course I don't. This is why when coaches say this stuff, I'm willing to take them at their word for the sake of the conversation. If it turns out that what Jay Norvell is saying is not true, then this conversation was a waste of time. But let's say for the sake of the conversation, that everything Jay Norvell is saying is the truth. Is there an issue ethically with agents doing this? Sure. But I also think that agents are providing a service to these players that engages the transfer portal. These players may not have anybody in their back pocket that can make the phone call around the landscape of collegiate football to find out what their market value is. An agent does that for them. And even if they do it independently, without actually being assigned or signed to a contract by the player to do the representation. There is right now no union. There's no collective. There's no group. Agents can call anybody they want and go, hey, if I was to theoretically get Will Howard out of Kansas State and get him to Ohio State, how much would you put on the table out of the NIL collective? And Ohio State goes $500,000. And he goes, great. And he calls Will Howard and he goes, hey, Will, I can get you $500,000 to head up to Columbus, Ohio. You interested? And Will Howard, and this may shock you, Will Howard has the ability to go, yeah, what's the take for you? What's your percentage of that $500,000? And the agent goes 20%. And Will Howard could go, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. And then he can call Ohio State and go, hey, I heard you got $500,000. You know what I mean? Like there's options here for the players. And as I have said, since the beginning of the NIL era, if the players want the adult opportunity to sign NIL deals, then along with that comes the adult consequences of it. I've always said that about entering the portal and then not having a team sign you. And your old team going, nah, brud, hit the bricks. You're not welcome here anymore. And you have just transferred yourself out of college football. That's an adult consequence that comes along with the adult opportunity of entering the portal. And it is something that players are learning the hard way every year. It sucks. I hate it for them, but it is what it is. If I was to leave a job here that I very much love and enjoy and feel comfortable and confident that there's job security here, the bosses like me. We have won 3 Crystal trophies in this building. We're fine. If tomorrow somebody called me and said, Rob, $500 million to come up and do the show, and I say bye-bye, there's no guarantee that I don't get there, work for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and then they go, actually, we're flipping the format to a country music station now, so Rob, you're unemployed. And guess what? There's no guarantee that I get a call from the fan upstate going, hey, you're welcome back here. They may go, screw you. You left us high and dry, bud. We don't want you back. And the adult consequence now falls on me to deal with that. That's how the game gets played. Okay? That's how the game gets played. So, with all of that being said, do I find it gross? Do I have an ethical problem with it? Yeah, absolutely I do. But the players also, by not having these agents, these independent agents, sign the contracts, the players also have the right and the ability to say no to them. To say, no, I'm good. I'm good. I got this. I don't need you. I don't need your help. I'll make that phone call. I got a guy, whatever. So it just kind of is what it is. It just kind of is what it is. Like it's how the real world works. And I don't know why we want to treat this world, this landscape, so much different than we treat, I don't know, every other career and profession in America. All right, a couple of texts that have come up so far. Texter said, SMU over here shaking their head. They got kicked out of football for how many years? All because they did something that everyone did afterwards. Now it's the Wild Wild West. I'm kind of tired of that phrase, respectfully, Texter. It's the Wild Wild West. No, it's not. What do you mean it's the Wild Wild West? The concept of the Wild Wild West was that you could just go around shooting people and doing whatever you wanted. No, you can't. No, you can't. I'm not saying that there are the rules and regulations, but it's no if college football is the Wild Wild West, Lonzo and I live in like outer space Western style atmosphere because our industry is a hell of a lot more volatile than college football. Like, it is what it is. I'm kind of over that phrase. Texas said, Rob, I believe Jay Norvell, it's how they got Birch and Bell from the Gamecocks summers ago. I mean, sure. Again, if you don't think the same colleges, college coaches, with a handful of exceptions, Debo Swinney, aren't absolutely willing to allow their collectives to pay these guys to come to their school and make their teams better, I mean, I'm sure they got a bridge in Arizona they'd sell you to. Texter said, with no collective bargaining agreement, the agents will not be restricted. Yeah, that's true about everything. This is why I've said the only way to put guidelines down now is to employ the students, allow them to form a union, and then collectively bargain with them. Texas had heard a lot of talk yesterday about how the playoffs aren't fair because some conferences are better than others. Think about it from the opposite side. Will the new playoff structure not improve other conferences over time? More exposure for the other brands, spread the cheddar around. Seems like it will eventually help college football. Yeah, the SEC and the Big Ten are definitely willing to spread the cheddar around. Wink, nudge. Hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You're going to want to pay attention to the next 60 seconds of audio because Lonzo is about to chef to you with this sports flash.
I don't know why cheddar is the cheese of choice.
Cheddar!
I'm going to go with mozzarella. Jamar Chase caught 177 of Joe Burrow's 369 yards and 2 of his 3 touchdown passes as the Bengals knocked off the Cowboys 27-20 last night. Former South Carolina Gamecock Rico Dowdle turned in 131 rushing yards for the Cowboys in the losing effort as the Cowboys fell to 1-6 at home. That's bad, in case you didn't know it. Georgia quarterback Carson Beck has what is being called an elbow injury by the school, though there were no specifics for a timeline for a return to action. Beck was hurt in the Bulldogs' overtime win over Texas in the SEC championship game. Beck's availability for Georgia's second-round matchup on New Year's Day is also unknown. Tune in this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. as the Furman Paladins take on the South Carolina State Bulldogs. It's Furman versus South Carolina State right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, Upstate.
Efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-4574. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-254-4574 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-254-4574 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-254-4574.
Do you know the most important factor in your company's success?
I mean, they could have NCAA agents, but again, you're gonna have to create a world where players and agents agree to those rules, which would require collective bargaining.
Find out more at insperity.com/HR-matters.
It's bow time. 2 Bojangles steak biscuits for $5 means 2 times the tender, 2 times the flavor, 2 times the country fried, change your life, need another bite goodness you crave. Order yours today. It's bow time.
Meet Cheryl. Hey, she's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at Salsa Night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3, 2.
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Pizza just goes better with Pepsi Zero Sugar. But don't take our word for it. In fact, don't take any words for it. Crispy and cheesy, paired with delicious and refreshing. My mouth is watering already. Ooh, too high. Yeah, we've all been there. Every bite is better with Pepsi.
The Fan.
Upstate.
WYRD Greenville.
WORD Spartanburg.
WFBC HD3 Greenville.
W249GL Greenville.
W246CV Spartanburg.
Man, check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown Lockdown.
Represents being real.
Yeah. Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show. Only
And off we go into our number 3 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, you be a part of the show. 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. That is the number to be a part of the radio program today. You may text us on the text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the show. You can tweet me at The Rob Brown Show. You can tweet Lonzo at Lonzo on Word. You can tweet everybody up in the hizzle at The Fan Upstate. And, of course, on top of all of that, you can use the Ray Memorial Hotline. Go to the Odyssey app, AUDACY, put it on all your digital devices. And once you do, search the Fan Upstate. When you get there, click on the little heart icon. Once you do that, it's going to add the Fan Upstate to the home screen of the Odyssey app for you. Then every time you open the Odyssey app, you can just click right there on the homepage, take you straight to the station. And once you get to the station page, you're going to see right at the top in the middle a little button that's a circle. I think it's a rectangle, or not a rectangle, but like a what do you call a rectangle, but it's rounded? What's that shape? It's like long and skinny, but then the edges are round. Is it an oval?
It's an oval.
It's an oval now?
I believe so. Yes.
I thought an oval was round, just an elongated circle, but it was still round.
What you kind of described.
Straight lines on the top, curved edges.
It's an oblong oval.
But it's not an oval anymore, is it? I don't know. Whatever shape it is, click on that button. You can drop a 30 to 60-second voice note. And if you do, and if it's good, Lonzo and I will read it on the air. We'll play it on the air. I may have to edit it, clean it up, because that is, you can say it anything you want, anytime you want, day, night, rain, shine, January through December, doesn't matter the state of mind you're in. Say whatever is on your noggin, and I will clean it up and we'll play it on the show.
Possibly an ellipse.
That might, isn't ellipse just ovular though? I don't know. It's like bad geometry class up in here. I don't know. We have some research to do. We have some research that we got to learn shapes on the show today. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's 8 a.m. You know what we do at 8 a.m.? We do the Audio Blitz, the best audio that we have had since the last time we did the Audio Blitz. Now, I do have a bit of a theme on the show today. We're going to play some of the audio from the Simpsons stuff.
All right. It's a rounded rectangle. I looked it up, and that's what it says.
Hammer on nail.
And then it gives exactly what you're describing as
it's got to have a name.
Also a stadium.
It's called a stadium?
Yes.
Go to the Fan Upstate page and click the stadium. I'm not going to say that, because sports fans are going to be spending time looking for a picture of Jerry World on there to click.
Say stadium-shaped button.
Click the button that says leave a voice message. All right, just click that button. 30 to 60 second
All right,
voice
geometry
message.
class is over.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do the show. Let's start with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Lombo, just curious, what'd you think of the whole Matt Eberflus no timeout deal on Thanksgiving? And then there was also a report that came out today, I think from Dan McNeil, that said Jim Harbaugh was interested in the Bears job, or at least talking to them in January, and Kevin Warren just kind of nixed that. I don't know if that's the Ohio State-Michigan deal, but are you confident that the Bears are going to make the right hire this upcoming cycle? Because we've been led to believe that Kevin Warren is going to have like a massive hand in hiring their next head
Remember,
coach.
Kevin Warren was deciding the feng shui of the suites in the new stadium on Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Watching it.
Yeah, well, you can do that, and you can run a team. Look, Kevin Warren's running the team. Let's make no mistake about that. Okay, you can sit there and say that somebody else is he is, and that story that was written about Jim Harbaugh is completely true. Now, remember, Warren and Harbaugh, Warren being the commissioner of the Big Ten, and Harbaugh had some differences, and I think it let it spill over. But there were two teams that Jim Harbaugh would have loved to work for, I'm sure, last year. The Bears, who he played for and was the number one pick for, and then the Las Vegas Raiders, who he worked for in his first coaching job. Neither team decided to go after him. Why? I don't know. To me, if you're Kevin Warren, the object of this is to get the best coach available. And Jim Harbaugh would have been the best coach for your team. Now, you would have had to fire Eberflus.
How about that? The Chicago Bears could have had Jim Harbaugh. I'd say Jim Harbaugh's doing pretty good over there with the Los Angeles Superchargers. I'd say that Jim Harbaugh's got that team pointed in the right direction. They're running the ball. They're throwing the ball. They have got one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Could have been the head coach of the Bears, but they decided, let's keep Matt bleeping Eberflus.
Yeah, he could have went and won that division. He can't win the one he's in, but he could have won that division. He could have won
that one. That is a fact. That is a fact. And worked with a brand new college quarterback who Jim Harbaugh the year before that took a very average college quarterback and won a damn national championship with him. You don't think that was the right call? Lulz, Chicago. Your ineptitude is right up there with the Dallas Cowboys. I like when smart knowers of the ball validate a take from one Rob Brown, like Rick Neuheisel did.
This is why the committee is such a beautiful thing. It is so subjective. You can do dang near anything you want. Really. And we have never in the history, so don't be surprised by this. Don't act like you got to change your schedules going forward, because they've never given a dang about schedules toughness. They've never put their foot down and said, don't schedule soft. Not in the history of this is the 11th year. Never one time have they given a dang. Jeff Long told us as much. Yeah, but have you seen them play? I mean, that was the first committee chair. Told us, if you just look at them, this is who you like. And Alabama has absolute warts. They lost to Vanderbilt and looked bad doing it. Came apart at the end, disheveled, no discipline. They lost to Oklahoma, scoring 3 points to a team that's 6-6. The very next week got beat badly by LSU. I mean, what are we saying here? This was not a vintage Alabama team. They've been to the playoffs 8 of 11 years. This was not a team that, even though there were 12 spots, is a playoff team when ranked against those others. Now, I know you don't rank them against the others, but this is the beauty of college football. Water cooler talk, the conversations that happen, because it's been subjective since the beginning of time.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick Neuheisel, for literally saying everything that I said. Bama would have been in, but the losses, not just the losses, but the badness of the losses. A. B, it is entirely and completely subjective, always has been, always will be. And C, that's never going to change for 2 reasons. Number one, there is no way to change it. There is no objective way to measure it. And B, it generates so much buzz and conversation that it is always on the forefront of America. And therefore, why would you change it? At the end of the day, as the old phrase in our industry goes, talk good about me, talk bad about me, just talk about me. And college football has created a world in which they own the sports talk landscape for about 8 weeks leading up to the playoffs. They ain't going to change a damn thing. Rick Neuheisel, I was going to say Rick Neuheisel's right. Let me phrase it the correct way. Rob Brown is right, and Rick Neuheisel agrees with him.
Here's the thing. He lost me at the beginning with his improper English. It was horrible. English teachers cringing out there. And then
as we all know, Lonzo is the flawless master of the English language. Never a mistake.
I'm actually a scholar off the air. I just play this guy on the air. I also was curious about his accent because I've heard him before, and I always wondered where. No, guess Guess where he's from? They'll look it up.
Minnesota. I'm just
Close.
just ranting
really,
on Minnesota.
Really close.
Wisconsin.
Yes.
Yeah. Wisconsin, Minnesota, somewhere up there. Somewhere up in that area. Canada South, Kyle Kennard wins the Bronco Nagurski Trophy for the nation's best defensive player last night. Here was his acceptance speech representing the University of South Carolina on the College Football Award Show.
Me and the guys back here were joking about having a talk if one of us won, and here I am. But I guess I'll start with the gratitude, man. I want to give a huge shout out to my mom and my dad that are sitting right over there. As well as my little brother over there, who I try to be a positive role model to every day. And I also want to give a shout out to my coaches that are right there, Coach Shane Beamer, Coach Sterling Lucas. And then honored to win this award. This past offseason was a flipping stone as far as my mindset. I knew I wanted different from myself, and I knew I wanted more from myself. And coming to South Carolina was the first part of me doing that. And I feel like when I got here, or I got to Columbia more so, the people that were in the building, the people that talked to me every day, just the fans in Columbia I'd see at a supermarket or something like that, they never failed to give me support and things like that. So I just want to give a huge shout out to them. And then to say that, or with saying that, I want to say that they were like the 12th man a lot of the times. Like when we had games, when I felt like I had a bad stretch of games, or when there was a controversial call that was plagued my way, I feel like they did a good job of being supportive, and that just helped me a lot through the season. So I just want to make sure I mention that. But I appreciate everyone who voted for me, and thanks. And I'm looking forward to coming back here next year to see who wins next year.
Kyle Kennard brings the Bronco Nagurski Trophy back to Columbia, South Carolina, and opens the speech with the mom and dad thanks. Elite acceptance there, young man. We'll talk a little bit more about him later on in the show. Bill Belichick said yes, he has been talking to North Carolina.
I've had some conversations with the chancellor at North Carolina, and so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes.
I think it caught folks by surprise that college coaching might appeal to you. Can you explain your decision-making process and why that does appeal to you, if in fact that's the route you go?
Well, again, I have an open mind and have I think the college game is closer to the pro game than it's ever been with the new kind of landscape in college football. So, I've explored it, and we'll see how it works out.
I think it's widely assumed that you'd like to win another Super Bowl. And I think it's widely assumed that you'd like to break Don Shula's record. Is that, and are those two things in the forefront of your mind?
Yeah, Jim, I don't have any set goals. I'm open to different opportunities going forward, and I'll just evaluate them as they come.
Hoodie says, I haven't even talking to the University of North Carolina, and should the opportunity be there, and should our goals and values align, that there's a chance I could get in there. I'm intrigued. He's asked straight to his face, is there a desire in you to win another Super Bowl, to set the record for most ever, to continue to further ingrain your name and image into the NFL Hall of Fame? And Hoodie's like, nah, I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. It is what it is. I may surprise you a little bit here in just a minute, Zoe, when we come back, because I want to talk about this, because I've come around on this, and this is
if you watched him on McAfee, he elaborated a lot more. And I mean, to a degree where I was thinking, okay, if Rob watches this, he will change his mind about Belichick being a college football coach.
Hang on. Let me finish what I was about to say to you. I absolutely think North Carolina should hire him, and I think they'll be silly if they don't. Now, what I'm not going to change my mind about is I think he's going to be an abject failure at the college level. I think he makes it like 3-4 years And then either he gets sick of losing and he leaves, or North Carolina goes, okay, we've gotten the extent of what we're going to get out of this guy. It's time to move on. And we'll talk about that. But I think even if you believe, as I do, that the hoodie will be an abject failure, North Carolina still has to hire him. And when we come back here in just a minute, I'll tell you why. Because I think they will be missing out on a massive opportunity if the hoodie does not become the next head coach at the University of North Carolina. And even though I absolutely think it will be an abject and total failure top to bottom, they got to do it anyway. I'll lay that out for you when we come back. I am Rob Brown. He is the great Walonzo. And you beautiful individual, you're listening to the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Mario just texted me at whatever o'clock in the morning it is. Why did you Google Jason Kelce butthole?
So he's asking you instead of doing it himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's questionable production work right there is what that is.
He may also be at work.
That's also fair. That's also very fair.
Frustrated, but we can see.
All right, guys, give me 45 seconds. Be right back. What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing this around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around.
So the loop's not on, by the way.
What?
The loop's not on.
Yeah, no, I turn it off. Whenever I play that video, I turn it off so that it ends that way.
Okay.
Browns have the second worst ATS spread this year. Chiefs as 5-point favorites is a 5-star best bet. I'm Ryan Horvath. Bet Smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL and BetMGM apps today.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.
Open enrollment is going on.
Did you ever see the movie Singing in the Rain?
Oh, God, when I was very young.
Yeah, that's a lie. Because old people do not do that in the rain. The rain makes you hurt. It's such a lie.
Time is running out to secure your coverage for January 1st.
Schedule your no-cost appointment today.
Such a lot.
Hereforyou.com. Don't spend another Christmas with the whole family in silence staring at their phones. Start a new tradition going to the Upstate Holiday Light Show, open now at the intersection of 123 and 153. 32 million dancing lights, carnival rides, pony corral, and a huge petting with goats, donkeys, and kangaroos. The best Christmas light show in Greenville. An amazing winter wonderland like no other. It's time for a new Christmas tradition. Details and tickets at upstatelights.com. Greenville County Animal Care is the only shelter in Greenville County that accepts animals regardless of their condition, behavior, or circumstances. While this helps most animals in need, it also brings challenges like frequent overcapacity and resource constraints. We must balance providing immediate care and finding long-term solutions for each animal, often with limited space and resources. You can help us help them by being a foster, a volunteer, donating, or even being a part of our next 5K for charity. Visit greenvillepets.org to learn more.
Staples has amazing deals on everything you need for the holidays, from custom holiday cards and photo gifts to laptops and gaming systems, even shipping solutions. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. In-store only offer ends 12/28. Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double pump, double sleeve? Can you handle that much caffeine? Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? I'm cutting you off. You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and all the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about.
So after the show, I'm going to go find Chris in engineering and ask him what that shape is, because of all the people in this building, he'll just know. He'll know automatically.
Not only will he, but he'll probably call you dumb.
He'll give you that look like, how did you not know that?
FM, 1330 AM, Greenville, 97.1 FM, 950 AM, Spartanburg.
Listen on your phone, download the Odyssey app, and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate on your HD radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more thing. And on your computer at
TheFanUpstate.com.
Call or text line.
71307.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. So, a handful of days ago, the great one and I bumped heads because I said the University of North Carolina would be foolish to hire Bill Belichick as their head coach. It would be a mistake because the hoodie will not succeed as a college football coach. And I want you to know that I've come around on that a little bit. I actually think now that the University of North Carolina would be foolish not to hire the hoodie as their head coach. In fact, I think it would be a stupid decision not to get the hoodie rocking the Jordan Jumpman logo and the baby blue up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I think they'd be foolish not to make that hire. But it is not because I think hoodie will succeed at the college football level. No, my friend, quite the opposite. I think the hoodie will get it handed to him at the college football level. And there's a variety of reasons that I believe that. I gave them to you the other day. Short and sweet. Hoodie's a 72-year-old guy that's going to, for the first time, step into the world of communicating with teenage boys, communicating with guys in their early 20s the first time. Now, yes, I am sure that Hoodie had a couple of draft picks that came into New England that were young cats. But here's the thing. New England, Bill Belichick was a dictator, a tyrant. He had full and complete control over everything. And he has said that time and time again. When I was there, it was my way or the metaphorical highway. It's not like that in the college ranks anymore, is it? We literally just had that conversation about the fact that if you're a college football coach, you've got to recruit 3 times. You got to recruit kids out of high school, you got to recruit kids out of the portal, and you got to recruit kids to stay on your team. Do you think Hoodie is going to suddenly have some philosophical shift that he's going to be able to go look at a wide receiver like Tez was a couple of years ago for North Carolina? That he's going to be able to go look at a kid like that and go, hey, buddy, I super duper like you a lot, and I really would love for you to stay on board with us. Whatever you need me to do. That's not the Hoodie way. But that's not the reason. That's not the reason that I think North Carolina would be foolish. Here's the reason I think North Carolina would be foolish. 2 years ago, North Carolina put together one of the best assemblages of football talent that college has had on campus in a very long time, and they really didn't do anything with it, like at all. Last year, pretty good team. Didn't really do much with it. This past year, not as good of a team. Sans one New England Patriot quarterback Drake May. Still a pretty good assemblage of talent. Didn't do anything with it. From the coaching perspective, it can't really get much worse. But there's another element of college football, an element of college football that has been discussed at great lengths over the past 2 years. And that element of college football is brand awareness. Now, North Carolina's got something going that's very nice for them. That is a direct connection, not a connection, the lead on the marquee of the Jordan brand. When you think Michael Jordan, you think 1, Chicago Bulls, 2, University of North Carolina. It's a nice brand to have attached to you. Branding is as important in the landscape of college football as anything else is. You heard Rick Neuheisel talking about that just mere moments ago in the last segment. Brand awareness is massively important in college football. Look at the University of Colorado. Genuine question. When was the last time that the University of Colorado was a front runner in the attention of the nation? I'm going to submit it was 1990 when the Buffaloes won a national championship. It was 2023 when Deion Sanders showed up on campus. From 1990 to 2023. I'm real bad at math, but I believe that's 33 years. The University of Colorado was not a topic of conversation amongst the collegiate football landscape. Then Deion showed up. And again, I don't think Deion's a great X's and O's coach. You know what I think Deion is? A wonderful celebrity, an outstanding hype machine, and a guy who's done a pretty good job assembling talent on a coaching staff around him. Bill Belichick is just a 72-year-old version of what Deion Sanders is for Colorado. Will it have the same outcome? Will Bill Belichick be able to get Travis Hunters to come play there? I don't know. But I'll tell you what else Hoodie can do, and I know Hoodie can do, that would be big. Hey, Lonzo, even if you aren't necessarily super jacked up about playing for a 72-year-old Bill Belichick, would you feel different if, let's say, you as a 5-star wide receiver recruit were introduced to new wide receivers coach Julian Edelman? Because I would feel a lot better about that. Would you feel better if you were introduced, not to 72-year-old head coach Bill Belichick, but you were introduced to linebackers coach Teddy Bruschi? because I would. I'd feel a lot better about it. Would you feel better if Bill Belichick assembled, as Deion Sanders did in Colorado?
Okay, I'm waiting for you to talk about a player. All I see are TV guys if I'm a young kid.
And?
Okay.
All Deion was a TV guy until he was a coach. Kids care about names. All these guys are names they know. Because the other thing you have to keep in mind, and this is something that I, as an aging man, am having to come to grips with. Every time I watch the Carolina Panthers play and J.C. Horn makes a move, I am reminded of the fact that I watched his father, Joe Horn, play NFL football when I was already a grown-up. The kids that are entering the college football landscape, Zoe, they were being born when Bill Belichick was really hitting his stride. They were children when Tom Brady was at his best in New England. They were in high school when Brady won his last Super Bowl as a Buccaneer. They were probably in middle school when he won his last Super Bowl as a Patriot. They know what the Patriots are. They know the Patriots dynasty. They know all about what Bill Belichick did in Foxborough, Massachusetts. So their exposure to the Patriots is Teddy Bruschi on TV, Julian Edelman doing podcast, Rob Gronkowski doing Fox NFL News. Could you imagine tight ends coach Rob Gronkowski? He would have every giant, thick-headed white tight end in America lined up. They would be tight end you that day. Sorry, Miami, backseat. TEU is now UNC. The point here is, Hoodie has access to resources as a pseudo-celebrity and successful NFL head coach that raises UNC's brand awareness through the roof and has the ability to bring onto his coaching staff names, Super Bowl winners as players and coaches. He's got the opportunity to call up those cats and go, yo, Julian, you can still do your podcast and make all that money, but I want you to come be the UNC wide receivers coach. You're telling me that there aren't young wide receivers flocking to play there. Rob Gronkowski, you can still do Fox NFL Sundays, but I want you to come coach tight ends in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We will fly you out on Saturdays to LA to go do Fox NFL Sunday, but I want you to make UNC TEU. You don't think tight ends around America aren't flocking to go play there? Hey, Teddy Bruschi, you can still do ESPN's Get Up, but I want you to come to Tar Heel Nation, and I want you to make UNC LBU immediately. I think Bill Belichick by himself would be an abject and total failure as a college football coach. I think he will get run out of the building by himself. But I thought that about Deion. And the Buffaloes were one bad loss away from competing for a Big 12 title and a playoff spot. And a first-round bye with that playoff spot. And that is because of the assembly of talent Deion Sanders built around him, the celebrity talent level that he built around him. Kids are flocking there to play there. They're going to kill the transfer portal. They're going to kill recruiting. That's and I said from the beginning, I don't know if Deion can X and O. What I do know is Deion's going to put together a good assembly of talented kids. Do I think it'll be enough to win Boulder, Colorado, a natty? No, I do not. Because I think even if you put together a hell of a lot of talent, there's still the Alabamas and the Georgias and the Texases out there you got to compete with. But I think we'll have Colorado playing as good of football as that school has played since the early 90s, for sure. The brand awareness that Bill Belichick would bring to Chapel Hill, North Carolina would be foolish if they don't take advantage of that. It is one of the most important aspects of college football, and Bill Belichick can utilize his grasp on the football landscape to do exactly what Deion did at Colorado. North Carolina's got to hire this guy. End of discussion. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. go, baby. The new Google Pixel has face recognition. I don't have to push buttons anymore. I am that lazy.
Another game I think she could handle. I'm working on her hand-eye coordination. If she gets better at stuff like Spyro, it will help her with basketball. Attention to detail and all that stuff. That and today I'll probably say, okay, let's just do it when she begs me again. Please, can we decorate the Christmas tree? Forget your mom and your uncle. Let's just do it. Then at 5:30, I'll go to bed.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, the great Alonzo, and you, 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663 is the number to be a part of the radio program. Text us 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. We will read them on the air. Tweet me at the Rob Brown Show. Tweet Lonzo at Lonzo one word. Tweet everybody up in her at the Fan Upstate. And use the Ray Memorial Hotline. Go to the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Put it on your digital devices. Search and subscribe to the Fan Upstate, and then hit the rounded rectangular button that says send a voice note. Drop us a 30 to 60 second long voice note. We will clean it up and play them on the show. I am looking for the Armada to become an even larger part of the Rob Brown Show each and every day with the Ray Memorial Hotline. That's why it is there. All right. We talked a little bit earlier in the show about the Simpsons game that took place last night with Monday Night Football. And I will tell you that it was very entertaining to me. It was very entertaining to me, and it was entertaining to me, I think, because by and large, I obviously grew up a fan of The Simpsons. I obviously grew up enjoying The Simpsons. By grew up, I mean in my late teenage and 20s.
I remember watching the first episode of The Simpsons live.
I don't even think born yet.
It's a really long time ago.
Oh, for sure. But, I have for years have had the Itchy and Scratchy. No Itchy and Scratchy in the show. I think they took Itchy and Scratchy out of The Simpsons, by the way.
I believe so because of the violence.
Yeah, it was like Itchy and Scratchy went too far for The Simpsons.
And they got ripped in half.
Oh, yeah, it was brutal.
Blood
It was brutal.
And stuff like that, yeah.
It was brutal. But Krusty the Clown was out there. Barney was out there. Mo.
Your boy Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Bob was out there. It was entertaining. And part of the reason it was entertaining was because it allowed the ESPN personalities to kind of have a little fun with it too, right? Like, to me, we need a bigger emphasis on personality that's not just scream and have hot takes all the time. Like, it's okay to let the people be people. Like, for instance, to start the broadcast, when Mina Kimes, who I adore, Mina Kimes channeled the spirit of Bart Simpson and absolutely got Dan Orlovsky.
Do you know? I don't even know. Have you heard of this player? Who is this?
Hugh Jazz.
I got him.
You did that so well. That was good. Gosh, I'm so stupid.
Mina Kimes walked across the ESPN set claiming she did not know one of the players on the roster, asked Dan Orlovsky, "Do you know who this is?" And he replied by reading the name of Dallas Cowboy legend Hugh Jass. I got to tell you, Zoe, you do that any other day of the week, it's funny. You do that when you're celebrating Bart Simpson and it becomes an iconic moment to the point that, yes, indeed, is now on the soundboard officially. Well done, Mina Kimes.
I hope that thing breaks again.
Well done, Mina Kimes. But they weren't done. Orlovsky got roasted again because they took you behind the scenes to kind of show you a little bit about how the AR tech worked. Effectively, they put Mina Kimes and Dan Orlovsky into Adams Stadium in Springfield, ? And made them into Simpsons characters that were in the little universe they created for the Simpsons game. The best part, when they introduced Dan Orlovsky, well known for that time when he was the quarterback of the Lions and he just ran out of the back of the end zone and gave up a safety. When they introduced his character, great one, to him, they had his character standing in the back of the end zone exactly where he ran out.
I'm on field level. Ironically, I'm placed quite literally just out of bounds in the back of the end zone. Yeah, is that what the fudge, guys?
Oh, that's just.
We're getting off on a really tough start here.
Which, of course, leads to clip number 2.
What the fudge, guys?
Like, I get Orlovsky's on ESPN 8. He's got to be super friendly, but what an absolute dork.
What the fudge, guys?
Your joy today is
so high. I
Yeah.
told you I had a blast last night. I had a good time. It was the first time in a while that I watched football and was just having fun. I have fun watching football. I like football, but I get into the football. I really like the football. Last night,
Thank you, Bobby Boucher.
I was just having
like
football. I like football. I like football. Last night I was just giggling on the couch. And every time they made a joke, I was like,
What the fudge, guys?
it was great. It was so much fun. And then there was the moment. Well, you know what? We got time. I got one for you. One of my favorite characters on the show. And I think this is something that, because The Simpsons have this image, but if you watched The Simpsons, you understand that every now and then The Simpsons actually got serious here and there. One of the best episodes ever there was an episode where Mo, the owner of Mo's Tavern, of course, Mo was going through it, as Mo goes through it every episode on the show. The reason that Mina Kine's getting Dan Orlovsky by asking him to read the name of Hugh Jass was because one of the longest running gags in The Simpsons, obviously, is Bart calling Mo's Tavern and asking for prank names like I See Wiener, etc., etc.
It's good to know caller ID has never made it to The Simpsons.
Springfield's a little backwards, So for years, Bart would call Mo's and he'd ask for a fake name, and Mo would yell out a name. Is I.C. Wiener here? Got a call for I.C. Wiener. Classic, vintage, highbrow, top-notch, prime-grade comedy. But then every now and then Mo would go through it, and Bart would call in, and he would be like, hey, is I Am Handsome there? And Mo would get built back up. It was always nice. So it was nice to see Mo get his moment last night, giving the hype speech to the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, listen up, meatwads. It ain't often I'm asked to be motivational. No, I am more the cautionary tale type. But today, I want you toilet tanks of talent to approach this game like you're me fighting a pigeon for a French fry. Sure, the opponent's gonna peck your fingers and maybe talon your eyes out. But if you hang on, if you bear down, you all could walk away with something salty and still with ketchup on it, maybe. Now, let's go crumble up them Bengals and scatter their bits around like that poison that is supposed to take care of roaches, but it never does. It doesn't, but you is. Let's go.
Let's go. I was ready to run through a wall for Mo. Also, they subbed Mo into the game on a play where one of the Bengals safeties had an absolute iconic tackle. And the video is Mo laying down one of the gnarliest NFL plays you've ever seen. Absolute burners on Mo last night. Spectacular stuff. Keep going. How about the moment that I have been building up all morning? I got into the office this morning. I sat down. I wrote the sports flash. And then I start cleaning up the show. I put the show together the night before, but I come in the morning and I kind of outline it and put, all right, I want to talk about this here and that there. And, the boring part of this fun job. And then I saw a clip. I saw a clip last night that I forgot. I'm like, oh, I got to pull a sound for that. And I couldn't figure out, what do I have to search to find the clip? I had to enter into my search bar, a search bar that anyone from this company can see what I searched on company property. I had to type in the words Jason Kelce butthole. Those are 3 words I entered onto my company laptop this morning. Why? Because Jason Kelce decided he was going to drop the Macho Man Randy Savage verbal elbow on Dallas. Now, you got to stick with me. But listen to how long it takes to build up to Jason Kelce's shining moment.
Specifically, the armpit of America's butt crack. So depending on where you think that is in America might determine who the crowd is rooting for tonight. Is it closer to Texas or Ohio? I truly don't know. We have no idea. And I think that's going to be something that's going to become very clear very quickly, whether this crowd is Team Bart or Team Homer.
Fantastic again. It's been an
This is
amazing
phenomenal.
and iconic marriage.
This
The
is phenomenal,
Simpsons, Monday Night Football. I would just say stay to the end. You never know what might happen there. We look forward to watching. Enjoy the Adams Stadium in Springfield, the armpit of America's butt crack.
I'm gonna Google it. I was trying to. It has to be somewhere. You was looking for one for real? Yeah, I want to know where it is.
Nina just told you.
You'll never know.
I'm not gonna go searching there.
On to the next.
Yeah. I don't even know the things that happen on this show, man.
It's time now for the Field Pass presented by DirecTV. This is the state of Texas, Arlington, Dallas. Build geography lesson.
Also, the butthole and armpit of America.
Yep. Jason just let them go on and on for 1 minute and 13 seconds before he took the opportunity to drop the same insult on actual real place, Dallas, Texas. I have only one issue with that take. I have only one issue. Jason Kelce, comedic timing, A+. Delivery, A+. All of it, as it has been since he entered the world of broadcasting. Spectacular work from Jason Kelce. I have only one issue. Dallas isn't the butthole of America. Jacksonville, Florida is. That's the only issue I have. He's right. Great timing, great execution, great delivery. George Carlin would be proud of Jason Kelce in that moment. There is just one issue. He's wrong. It's Jacksonville.
I'm so disappointed because you've touted and told me many times about, being unbiased in media. And as a former Philadelphia Eagle, that's why he's doing this. Because they hate the Cowboys.
Okay, he's still right. Just because it comes from a place of bias doesn't make it wrong. He's absolutely right. I've been to Dallas.
I wonder if he gets in trouble about bias, though.
No. If there was a problem with bias, he wouldn't have got the job in the first place. You know what that guy's gonna do. You know what's gonna happen if you bring in an iconic Philadelphia Eagle to be a part of the show. He's gonna drop bombs on DC, on Dallas, and on New York. You know it's going to happen. By the way, you got to give the guy credit because he goes out every one of those games and he hangs out with the fans and he spends time with them and he goes out to the tailgate and he parties. It's great. I think he does. I think he does a good job. But yes, I think it is I think it's a good take. I thought the execution was great. The delivery was great. It was A+ comedic work there from Jason Kelce with the issue of he's wrong. Jacksonville's the butthole of America. It's the worst place. I've been to Dallas. Dallas is all right. It's not a bad city. It's an all right city. It's got some good spots. It's got good nightlife. Great music in Dallas, Texas. No doubt about it. Food leaves a little to be desired. Food could be better. But I promise
Is
you.
the food better in Jacksonville?
God, no. Nothing's better in Jacksonville. Nothing. There is
not
4
even the women.
blocks.
I mean, there's a beach.
No, because the handful of attractive women in Jacksonville are sleeping with their gym trainer. Ask me how I know. All right? Even the women are terrible in Jacksonville. I'm like Charles Barkley to San Antonio. That's me to Jacksonville. I will never apologize to Jacksonville, Florida. Never. Your city stinks. Your football teams stink. There is 3 blocks of Jacksonville that is worth going to. It's Jacksonville Beach, and the only reason that's worth going to is because it's cheap to get drunk and forget you're in Jacksonville because that city sucks. It sucks the life out of you. The will to live is eliminated in Jacksonville. I was there 6 months, and it feels like I was there for an eternity of pain and suffering. Jacksonville sucks. Sorry, Jason Kelce.
I don't think I hate anything as much as you hate Jacksonville.
Probably not. To keep it a buck with you, you probably don't. There's like maybe the devil himself is about as close as you're going to get to how much I dislike the city of Jacksonville. That place is booty cheeks.
At least I know where he lives. apparently.
In Jacksonville.
Yes.
Dead center of downtown. The most corporate, soul-crushing, concrete jungle. I would rather live in the heart of Times Square for the rest of human civilization than spend 10 minutes in downtown Jacksonville, Florida. If you elect to live in Jacksonville, I question your mental capacity as a human. Sports Flash.
Now for something completely different. Jamar Chase caught 177 of Joe Burrow's 369 passing yards and 2 of his 3 touchdown passes as the Bengals knocked off the Cowboys 27-20 last night. Former South Carolina Gamecock Rico Dowdle turned in 131 rushing yards for the Cowboys in the losing effort as the Cowboys fell to 1-6 at home. That's not good. It's not. The finalists for the Heisman Trophy were named last night. Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel, Colorado's Travis Hunter winner, Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty, and Miami quarterback Cam Ward will all be in New York. The award will be handed to one of the 4 this Saturday night, probably Travis Hunter. Tune in Saturday at 11:30 a.m. as Furman Paladins take on the South Carolina State Bulldogs. It's Furman versus South Carolina State. Right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball, the Fan, Upstate. That's not going to work on Rob. It's definitely not going to work on me, but it's not going to work on Rob because probably 85% of the time he's been to Columbia, he's come back with the South Carolina Broadcasters Association award. The other couple is he went to a couple games early on. But, yeah, when we go to Columbia, we come back with hardware. So, I mean, I don't think Columbia is that bad, but, you know. It's, do you like, the city, or do you like, let's say cows and stuff, and cow pastures and the smell of cow pastures, which, I mean, I guess if you're into that, good for you. Rather smell the smell of a city, like, probably puke, urine, and exhaust fumes, but it's not cows.
I'm Bopper, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources.
Wesley, I can absolutely tell you that Columbia, South Carolina is better than Jacksonville, Florida. I can absolutely tell you that. As somebody who's been to both, I can absolutely tell you that. I don't think you guys understand what downtown Jacksonville, what Jacksonville as a whole is. Number one, that city is spread out 1 billion miles in every direction, and there's nothing to it. If you want to do anything, you are in the car for an hour. You want to go to Jack's Beach? It's an hour. You want to go to the football stadium? It's an hour. I don't know how. You could be 3 doors down from whatever you want to do, and it will still take you an hour to get there, and there's nothing to see. It is nothing but interstate and billboards for local injury attorneys. That's it.
Lights next break.
Lights next break. 10-4. The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. The final hour of the show starts now. Welcome back. Good to have you, friends. Rob, the great one, Lonzo, and you. Renewal by Anderson to the Carolinas fan phone, 844-326-3663. That's 844-FANFONE. If you want to get at us that way, you can text us 71 307. Start your text with FAN, FAN, 71307. Start your text with FAN, FAN. We will read them on the air. Tweet me at the Rob Brown Show. Tweet Lonzo at Lonzo on word. Tweet us all at the Fan Upstate on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. And use the Ray Memorial Hotline. Go to the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Put it on all of your digital devices. Go to the Fan Upstate page. Click the little rectangular with curved sides button that says leave a voice message, and leave a voice message. 30 to 60 seconds. Say whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. I will clean it up, edit it, and get it on the air. It is your opportunity, my dear friends, to make yourself an even bigger part of the show. And yes, we absolutely do want you to take full advantage of the Ray Memorial Hotline on the Odyssey app. Go to the Fan Upstate page and make yourself a bigger part of the show than you have ever done before. Texter said, Corn Chip. Text the show. He said, Rob, I think it's Florida in general. I spent 8 months near Tampa and was miserable. Tampa's not bad. I tell people go to St. Pete. St. Pete's better. Go across the bridge over into St. Pete, Ybor City, kind of that area. That's a hell of a lot better area to hang out in. Tampa's not bad, but if you want to go to Florida, you got to go to one extreme of the other. You got options. You can go to the beaches in the Florida Panhandle where I grew up, Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, Destin, et cetera, et cetera. You go to that area, the beaches over that way are absolutely beautiful. They're untouchable, all right? You can go to Orlando, obviously, hit up the theme parks, Disney World, Universal, whatever, SeaWorld, all that area. Orlando's not bad, but it is pricey. You're going to spend a bunch of money, but if you got it and you want to go have some fun, obviously, or Orlando around the theme parks, pretty good way to do that. Or you got to go down to South Florida. You got to go to Miami, South Beach. Mwah, it is beautiful. You want to talk about the beach, the culture, the music, the food, the ladies. Miami is absolutely untouchable. Or if you want that, but you want it a little bit more of a relaxing area, if you want a spot that's a little bit more laid back, chilled out, relaxing, maxing, all cool, Key West is untouchable. Key West is gorgeous, man. You want to talk about seafood?
So the Beach Boys were telling the truth.
Oh, forget Kokomo. Key West is where you want to be. All right. Kokomo's great because it rhymes better in the song. Key West.
Did you say the Florida Keys, which is, I guess, is where Key West
to
is?
the Florida Keys. There's a place. Siesta Key's great. That's another great. Siesta Key's like Key West, but it's even more laid back than Key West is busy, right? It is absolutely busy, but the food's phenomenal. The local. You know what Key West is? Key West is Nashville for people who want to be Jimmy Buffett, and it's untouchable. It's a phenomenal place to be. So it's not Florida in general, but Tampa's just like barely above Jacksonville. Texas said, "Did Rob get his heart broken in Jacksonville or what?" My God, yeah, I did. But I want you to know.
Good call.
I want you to know. No, that's exactly correct. I've never hidden that,
dude.
I
was being sarcastic towards the texter.
Yeah.
I know you've said it many times. It might be we get new listeners.
When I was there, I moved there for a girl. The girl ended up doing the shefty with a number of other dudes when I was there. All right, it was not ideal. Now, it turned out the best thing that's ever happened to me, because what happened there led to me being here. What happened there led to me having this incredible job, working with these incredible people, and meeting my incredible wife is the best thing that's ever happened to me. So, granted, I'm glad it happened, but I need you to know that's the most soul-crushing, lacking in everything. There's no good food in Jacksonville. There's no good music. Like, the only good things that have ever come out of Jacksonville, Florida, there's like a couple of bands that came out of Jacksonville, Florida. Limp Bizkit came out of Jacksonville, Florida. Yellow Card, Shinedown. Who else? There's a couple more. Molly Hatchet and Leonard Skinner both came out of Jacksonville, Florida. Red Jumpsuit Apparatus came out of Jacksonville, Florida. Widespread Panic came out of Jacksonville. They have put up a couple of good bands, but you know what every one of those bands do when they make it? They leave.
Yeah, I've never heard of the Red. That's the only one I have.
That's a pretty niche sound, is what that is.
Is it recent or it's just
my college days? I think.
Yeah,
my college days.
All right, so not recent.
Yeah, that sucks. Texter said, Uncle Jesse told me that Kokomo was right off of the Florida Keys.
See, that's what I was
saying. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you want. Uncle Jesse and the Rippers, a.k.a. the Beach Boys. All right? The real Uncle Jesse and the Rippers. All right, that's enough Uncle Jesse and the Reapers. That's enough Beach Boys talk. There's never enough Beach Boys talk. I could talk about the Beach Boys for hours. Love the Beach Boys.
We need a theremin in here so we both can learn how to play it.
I don't hate that. I did have my one time. I went to Key West one time, so now I want to learn how to play steel drum moment.
Oh, those look like fun. They really do.
They are. The problem with the steel drum is you have to know music theory to work one. Because I just don't. I'm too dumb to get music theory. I love music. I love playing music, but when I learn guitar, I'm like, show me where put fingers make happy sounds.
So steel drum is like a round xylophone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
pretty much.
Okay. All right.
It's got spots you hit to make the happy sounds. And I'm too like when I learn guitar, like the G chord to me, I can't be like, oh, this is that note and this is that. I go, this finger there, this finger there, this finger there, strum, make good noise. Like that's how I play guitar.
That's how I play keyboard. So yeah, why not?
That's how I play guitar. All right. That's enough of that. What else do we need to get to on the show today? What haven't we gotten to yet? We talked some that's right.
All right, here's the punt by Ryan Rako.
Oh, got it.
Ball is blocked.
Got it.
Oh,
no.
Touch it. The Bengals are going to have the ball.
Oh, no.
You can't touch it when it's blocked beyond the line of scrimmage, and the Bengals are going to have it at the 45.
Oh, somewhere Leon Lett is saying, I'm off the hook.
That's the exact play without the snow.
Oh, no. That did not just happen.
That did just happen. That was a clean block by Nick Vigil.
On a kick play, the ball was touched by the receiving team beyond the line and then recovered by the kicking team. As soon as they recover the ball, it is dead. We ruled on the field, it's Cincinnati's ball, first down.
So does everybody understand that when the ball is touched? Nick Vigil blocked the punt. but it went beyond the line of scrimmage. Right, babe? As soon as it does that, then the
He said Dave,
blocking
just so we're
team
clear. He
can't
didn't
touch
say
him
right,
because he's
babe.
free. And
Right, babe?
Oriara just off the injured
I know
list,
what I
touched
heard.
it,
Right, babe?
as Leon Lett did on Thanksgiving those many years ago, and muffed it. And the Bengals got it back.
All right, so I was going to ask you if this is an announced team from 1975.
Right, babe?
Then he called him babe, and it's definitely 2024.
Right, babe? He said
Yeah,
Dave,
but here's the thing.
But
As
we
soon-
all heard,
as
right,
soon-
babe?
As soon as you saw my head go up,
Oh, for
you
sure.
knew it because you thought the same
I
thing.
absolutely did. The first time I heard it, I'm like, did he just say right, babe, to his broadcast colleague? It turns out, no, he did not. He said right, Dave. I went back and listened to it like 11 times to make sure I had that right.
Yeah, if you ever call me that, I'm talking to HR.
Right, babe? For the record, it's all I'm saying for the next 51 minutes and 15 seconds. Just say anything to me. I'm going to be right, babe. Right, babe? Right, babe. Oh, for sure.
Urban Meyer is the greatest coach of all time.
But that wasn't the end of the texture said, he muffed it, babe. Nailed it. Nailed it. Right, babe? Anyway, that's a great call. But that wasn't the only line of sadness.
Snap is back. Burrow looking, throws it right. Caught by Chase, circles around Bland, runs down the sideline. Touchdown Bengals with 1:01 to play. 40 yards.
Bland just overran it. It's just a comeback on the right side of the Bengals offense. Bland goes up to make the tackle. Little out of control, driving on Jamar Chase. He slips down, and Chase just pretty much walks into the end zone.
Good call, babe.
Good call, babe. Touchdown, babe. Absolute touchdown, babe. That's just so freaking good, dude. It's an unnecessary amount of fun. And here's the problem I'm going to bump into, Lonzo. I'm going to be doing it the rest of the day. And I'm going to do it to any and everybody who talks to me. Hey, Rob, you want to grab a beer later? Sure do, babe.
You probably should be careful with that.
Nope.
I mean, that could get you in trouble at home. I'm thinking, yeah.
Nope. Everybody's catching it today.
All right, let's you and I go down the hall because I want to see you say that.
Bet. I don't have a problem with it because here's the thing. People are going to go, what the hell are they talking about? I'm going to go, hey, you got to listen to the Rob Brown Show podcast version only at
I wanted you
thefanupstate.com.
to say that to the boss.
I absolutely will, babe.
Okay.
No
All
problem,
right.
babe.
All right, we'll see.
My favorite part is this evening. This evening is the ladies, lady friends corporate Christmas gathering. That's where I will need to
You
stop.
really had to reach for that for the Christmas gathering thing.
Well, because it's not really it's not their Christmas party. Because they do like a company Christmas party
This is
where
where
everybody's
people
got
actually like each other. Gather.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All right.
There's the party where everybody goes and everybody's kind of on their suit and tie best behavior. And then there's the Christmas gathering, which is the people who like each other who are like, hey, psst, hey, babe. We're going to the good bar tonight, babe. We'll see you there, babe. Meet us at the good bar, babe. Jerry, after the L.
Of course, that locker room is really devastated by the turn of events on the block kick. Obviously, we had a block kick call, made the play, and then had one in so many odds that turn against us, and we all would say, well, why block the kick? Just take the kick and get within field goal and kick it. We'll all be second guessing that one. I was proud of the way the guys hung in there all day. Their quarterback's outstanding. And I thought we did some really good things out there, patched up. We'll know about Overshown tomorrow.
What do you say to a kid like Laurier who's just been activated, muffs the punt with 2 minutes to go? I know he's got to be having a tough post game.
Yeah, I don't know that we we made the mistakes out there. That mistake we made at the end was really it was very impactful. Is all I can say.
Is that all you can say, babe? That's all you got, Jerry? I just, do you know I'm not a person, and I've said this many times on the show, and it's a lie. I'm not a person who takes joy in the sadness of other fan bases, unless that other fan base is super obnoxious and annoying. Not that every Cowboys fan is, but you know that Dallas fans, by and large, are obnoxious. Because if you know an individual Cowboy fan, they will tell you that their fan base is obnoxious. Like Cole Bryson will ask him today, are the Cowboys fans obnoxious? And he'll say yes. Guarantee it.
Yeah, but if he's doing that smiling thing, you don't know if he's messing or if he really.
No, he's smiling because he knows. The answer is yes. If we walk down after this show to the boss's office, who is a Cowboys fan, and I go, hey, babe, are Cowboys fans obnoxious?
You're not doing that. You're not doing that for a second. And it's so far-fetched that we're walking down there without being invited.
We might get an email today that says, hey, fellas, don't come see me in my office after the show. Hey, boys, don't come to the office. Dexter said, I was just waiting for Jerry to say, babe. I'm sorry to whoever is going to get caught up in this today. But you can thank the Dallas radio crew.
You're not sorry about that at all.
Not even a little, babe. Not even a little. Anyway, I just like to thank, genuinely thank Jerry Jones for the endless stream of entertainment that is the Dallas Cowboys this year. It's just mwah, chef's kiss. It's spectacular. It's constantly something new and fun and improved. And granted, like last night, a young guy getting his first real crack at it, a young guy getting his first real shot at it, made a mistake. That's all it came down to. Made a mistake. Granted, it was a gigantic mistake, but made a mistake. But it's not that a mistake got made. It was the mistake got made. The mistake that got made. It's football 101 caliber mistake. It is elementary school level of mistake that got made, which is just so fitting for this team. And it's the fact that once again, when Jerry comes out and has to talk, he says nothing at all. This is from a fan base that spent the offseason trying to tell us this is it. Dem boys is back. And last night, I don't know of a better representation of who and what and exactly the Cowboys are more than Homer Simpson was their representation in the Simpsons game. I feel like that's all you need to know. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Lights.
All right, guys, quick live when we're back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. What is up? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing this around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. So Bryce Young's a dude. Bryce Young's a dude now. He's just a dude now. He's been playing good ball. He's been making consistent throws. Bryce Young is just a dude now. But there was an interesting question that was posed yesterday to Dave Canales. That question was, what would have happened if Andy Dalton never got into that minor car accident that injured his hand and made them shift back to Bryce Young? Would BY have gotten his chance to return? And here's how Canales answered that question.
Yeah, I just see him just making great decisions to push our whole system forward in the way that he's preparing, in the way that he's making it come to life on game day. Certainly making better calls out of what I've called, and making plays out of it and finding scramble throws and those things down the field. And so I'm fired up for the progression of Bryce and just watching him just take each step every week, attacking the game plan and making it come to life during the week.
And Andy and I had the thumb injury in the car accident.
Yeah.
What was the plan at that point? When were you going to get another look at Bryce?
Yeah, it would have been really interesting, and fortunately we got the opportunity. Bryce got the opportunity that he did, and on the other side of it, I was pulling for Andy at the time too, who was, building some weeks. He had a couple of rough weeks and was like, okay, here we go. Let's get this thing back on track, and so it's two stories, and that's life. And Bryce made the most of his opportunities, and here we are, just with the weekly growth and took another step in a positive direction against a really good team. And so, that's where we're at. It's like we're week to week, here we go against the Cowboys, and we'll have to lock back in.
I got, first off, you imagine hearing Andy Dalton hearing Dave Canales say, I was pulling for Andy Dalton at the time.
Well, I'm not surprised by anything he said, because he said Andy was the guy. And so I don't think that Bryce ever would have got back in.
I do. I think the question mark was always just going to be a matter of when. And then on top of that, you add to the fact, and this is the uncomfortable truth about the scenario, those last two games, Andy Dalton sucked. Not like Andy Dalton was playing bad football, like just making bad decisions.
You're right, because so Bryce Young has come in and they've won every game.
Again, are they wins and losses as quarterback stats?
You're right, which is why Andy Dalton shouldn't be blamed. You started off blaming him at the beginning. Okay, maybe I misunderstood, babe.
Good job. Nice job. Well done. Approved. My name is Rob Brown, and I approve this message. There is a difference in separating a quarterback, as you should, from wins and losses as a QB stat, and gauging the quarterback's play as good or bad. We don't do it for any other position on the football field. We don't say, Saquon Barkley rushed for 124 yards, but the Eagles lost, so the Giants lost, or whoever he's playing for now. The Eagles lost, so therefore Saquon sucks, right? We don't do that. We don't say Derrick Henry only had 110 yards and 3 touchdowns, but they lost. The Ravens lost, therefore Derrick Henry sucks. We don't do that. We only do it for quarterbacks. You've got to separate that. But that doesn't mean that you can't look and go, that quarterback played poorly. Here's the reality. Sometimes a quarterback's going to play poorly and the team's still going to win. And sometimes a quarterback's going to play out of his friggin' mind and the team's still going to lose. It's not a quarterback stat. Andy Dalton was playing bad football, regardless of the results, even if the Panthers went 4-0 when he was the starter. He was playing bad football. If a quarterback goes out there and goes 10 of 30 with 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, and 110 yards, and the team wins anyway, you're not going to go, hey, that's great quarterback play. You're going to go, he sucked and we won anyway. Andy Dalton was playing bad football. The reality is BY was always going to come back in, even if it was only to establish his value as either trade bait for the Panthers, as we think he's good enough to keep around as a backup, or, hey, man, he kind of figured it out. And that's the one that it ended up coming true. Kind of figured it out. Dude is absolutely balling right now. The loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, a very close loss, a loss where the Panthers covered, a loss where the Panthers fought literally to the last play on the road against one of the 2 best teams in the NFC. And we're in the game. And if it wasn't for a Xavier Legette drop, who I love, this is not turning on Xavier Legette, just so we're clear. I am not big E-ing Xavier Legette. I refuse to do it. I love the guy. But he doesn't drop that football. Carolina wins that football game by a point. That's just a truth. It's a hard truth, but welcome to football where hard truths must be told. BY is a dude now. And as much as you hate it happening to the guy, because I am an Andy Dalton fan as a dude, the dude everywhere he has been in his career has been nothing but a consummate professional. Nothing but a consummate professional. He is backed up when he was asked to back up. He has started when asked to start. He has been a teacher when asked to teach and a follower when asked to follow. He has been a consummate professional, and Andy Dalton deserves flowers for being a pro's pro. But that car accident was the best thing that's happened to the Carolina Panthers. That car accident was the best thing that's happened to the Panthers. It sucks. I don't like it. It makes me feel dirty and gross to say it. But that car accident is the best thing that's happened to the Carolina Panthers. Best thing in that Andy Dalton wasn't seriously hurt. Thankfully, Andy Dalton wasn't seriously hurt. That would have been a tragic outcome. Andy Dalton had a little boo-boo, little bump, little ouchie. And it ended up leading to the shift back to Bryce Young. And it turned out that
severe sprain of his thumb on his throwing hand. That's more than a little boo-boo. I
mean, compared to what could have happened.
I'm sure he'll take that sprain any day, even if it did, because his entire family was involved in the accident. The fact that he lost his starting job because of it, I'm sure he's okay with that.
No, I'm sure Andy Dalton is heartbroken about it, but that doesn't mean that it still wasn't the best thing to happen to the Carolina Panthers.
Bryce Young is playing better. He has not validated you in any way because they're not winning any games. And he's had the opportunity to win some games. Legette did drop the ball, but it's because
That is the second week in a row where a ball in the end zone that should have been a touchdown that would have won the game wasn't, not BY.
Bryce Young led him in a pass earlier that nearly got him killed.
Yes, it is Bryce Young's fault that Xavier Legette dropped the football.
It's his fault that he got destroyed earlier on in the game, and so later on, he was in so much pain that he couldn't hang on to the ball. Yeah, that's definitely a Bryce thing.
You know that I love Xavier Legette.
And Andy Dalton wouldn't have got him killed like that.
Yes, because Andy Dalton wouldn't have got the ball to him, which is why this is the best thing that's happened to the Carolina Panthers this year. Andy Dalton was not playing good football when he got benched because of the injury. He just wasn't. Objectively, verifiably, was playing bad football. And then you make the switch to BY, and you are in it. Dude, they were 16-point underdogs, and Bryce Young hit the 1 and the 7 directly in the middle that if XL hangs on, they win the game outright. It is the biggest upset in the NFL this year. If that ball just hits him between the if he hangs onto a ball that hit him between the numbers, that's just what it is. That's just what it is.
I feel bad for the rookie receiver that he's getting all this hate when he's a rookie receiver.
No one's hating on him. It is not hating on a guy to say if you. Yes, that is.
Sounds like. I mean, you know.
Is that not how you score a touchdown? Am I getting it wrong? I maybe I don't know ball anymore, but I feel like if he catches, they score. Is that wrong?
You're still my guy, XL.
Dude, he's absolutely my guy. He is the only NFL player that has multiple clips on the soundboard that I can't have access to. But if I did, I'd play his clip right now.
But Gronk has multiple on yours.
Okay, he's one of two players. Okay, Gronk's not an active player, though.
That's true. You're right on that one.
I know. I'm right about the other thing, too. Andy Dalton was playing bad ball. He got benched.
He got benched because he got hurt.
He got benched because he got hurt.
He probably would not have been benched.
Why?
And you can go the other way, but neither one of us know. And the way Canales was talking, I took that as Andy Dalton would have been playing the rest of the season.
Okay, then why has Andy Dalton not come back yet?
Is he recovered from the injury?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, he's throwing balls in practice. Why is he not back starting yet?
He's not on questionable or anything on the.
Nope, he's been dressed out.
Looking at the report. So some other people are dressed out and they don't play.
You can't answer the question. That's what it comes down to.
Neither can you.
Yes, I can. Because Bryce Young's playing good football and Andy Dalton was playing bad football. That's the answer.
And they're winning games.
It's not a quarterback stat. I'm gonna.
It's not for
slam
him.
my head into the desk.
But it is for Andy Dalton.
It's not for anybody. Andy Dalton was playing bad football regardless of the wins and the losses. Regardless of wins and losses, he was playing bad football. Regardless of wins and losses, Bryce Young is objectively playing good football. You're being a hater right now, man.
You love your baby boy.
Does anybody else but me think Bryce Young's playing good football? Am I losing my damn mind?
I never said he wasn't playing good ball. I actually said he's playing better. I did say that. I did say that for sure.
Not better. Good football.
Oh no, he's playing better.
I feel like
but compared to where he was, anything's going to make him look great.
He's playing good. I would take Bryce Young in New Orleans yesterday.
Just about every quarterback in the league you would take.
Not the point. Not the point. Scott said, how is it being a hater to say XL should have caught that ball? We all critiqued on job performance. Rookie or not, you're not above criticism. Yes. The NFL works on harsh realities, and the harsh reality is he's got to make that catch.
You're right, Scott. That's what I was saying. He's a rookie receiver who dropped the ball, but you're blaming him and not blaming Bryce Young for anything that he did during the game.
Blaming that drop on Bryce Young is the definition of drinking the hater in.
Not blaming.
You literally just did.
I'm blaming the entire game. He's playing better, but they're not winning. So he's not. I would be surprised if he's a quarterback next year for the Carolina Panthers.
I will bet you a year's salary right now he is week 1 starter next year.
What are you actually not waiting for me to? You're not going to do that, and I'm not going to take the bet.
$30. It's more realistic. All right, I'm my flabbers are gasted currently by the take.
No, they're not.
My
this is not the first nor the last time. Well, it could be the last time. You never know, but more than likely not the last time that we disagree on something that makes you violent. You're throwing stuff
because of how objectively
and you can't see because you got sunglasses on, and I just about lost an eye.
The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. Zoe chooses violence every day.
All I do is push buttons, man. That's all I do. Just pushing buttons. Incarnate word. Incarnate. Incarnate.
Do you know the most important factor in your company's success? It's your people. They're the heart of your business. So how do you harness this potential? In
Could lose one of those too. And you definitely don't want to do that. Although if you had to lose an eye or a groin, which one would you choose?
Both eyes.
You're already wearing glasses, so I mean, just make them thick Roy Orbison glasses and you're ready to go. I need a chauffeur. Get a nap on the way home if I had a chauffeur. What's it feel like to have a chauffeur?
I hate that I can answer this question. It was very brief. But when I worked for Roy, I had when we were on fight weekends. It wasn't like every day. But when I worked for Roy, I had whenever we would travel for fights and cards and stuff, we had a car. My favorite trip ever was from Pensacola to New Orleans for a camp with Roy. And we took a stretch Navigator, and it was stocked to the gills with whiskey and vodka and tequila that I could not afford a bottle of. And it was fantastic.
But
so the answer is awesome.
You were working, so you couldn't partake, right?
Sure. Texter says, hey, babe, Dallas sucks, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. The wife tonight is going to be like, stop calling me babe. Why are you calling me babe every sentence? Don't worry about it, babe. I don't know what to tell you, babe. It's just what we do in the sports world now, babe. Michael in Simpsonville texts the show, says that was not a difficult catch. That's the problem. The problem is I didn't need a superhero, put the cape and the underoos on the outside. I just needed a catch, just a football catch. Texter said, as a South Carolina fan, and that too being a Bengals fan, is XL the dude? I hate to even ask that question. I'm pulling for him, but he seems like he's had more mistakes than success this year. Just asking. I think it's fair to ask, but I also think it is fair, Mike, to say he's a rook. He's a rook. It is going to take some time. Now, here's why the question is fair to ask. The question is fair to ask because of Jonathan Mingo. The question is fair to ask because of, what's the kid's name? That's the LSU kid, whose name I've already forgotten since he's not on the roster anymore. The big, tall guy we kept waiting to be the red zone target. You know who I'm talking about. The guy whose name everybody messed up.
By the way,
I'm an idiot.
I usually would jump to your rescue as soon as I could, but I can't. I'm off today, so sorry.
Terrace Marshall Jr. TMJ. Guy.
Your guy. And that was your guy.
That was absolutely my dog.
Yeah.
I thought that guy was going to be a game changer. And he wasn't. I think it is fair. But I also think it is fair to point out that when you look at Mingo and TMJ, there's one more too. He was in the game last night for the Cowboys, babe. And I'm blanking on it, but there's been, just since I've been here, like 3 or 4. I don't want to say highly touted wide receivers, but like 3 or 4 receivers that I've been high on. Rashad Beard has been high on, guys that were like, oh, this guy's going to be an absolute dude, that weren't dudes. And so developing wide receivers has without a doubt been an issue over the years for the Carolina Panthers. And it is fair to ask the question, is that a franchise issue? Is this an issue with maybe XL is a freak athlete, but he's just struggling? I am going to say, I'm not writing the guy off, because while he has had some cases of the oopsie dropsies here and there, he's also made some catches. Like, the thing about XL coming to Carolina that I had concerns about, and again, this is one of those times where, yes, Rob Brown has to take off the fan of XL cap and put on the Rob knows ball and is an analyst cap. What I was worried about XL was not his mindset or anything like that. What I was worried about with XL was, at the college level, XL was just able to be a monster. Just be a dude. Just be a dog. Go up, get the ball, high point it, get over people, and make a catch. And at the NFL, he's another wide receiver. A good one. Got speed, got height, got hops. That's all well and good. But he's not like exceptional at any one of those things. He's a combination of all of them, right? Jack of all trade, master of none, I believe is the full phrase, right? He's got height. He's got speed, he's got hops, but he's not the tallest guy. He's not the fastest guy, and he's not the hoppingest guy. He's got a little bit of everything, and you got to figure out how you mold that into your offense. And I do think to some degree it is going to be Dave Canales having to figure out where XL fits in as much as XL figuring out how to play it at the highest level. And I think that is important. But I think those types of things, those types of issues, those are things that either get ironed out over time, or a year or two for now, we're going to look and we're going to go, it's too bad that guy didn't work out, because he was an absolute character and class act for the organization. We are, I think, all hoping that XL finds it, because he's impossible not to root for. He is one of those cats that if he played for the Atlanta Falcons, I'd still be rooting for him. Not the team, but for him. He's impossible not to root for. He and Keon Coleman are the two guys out of this draft that it is impossible to root against. Impossible to root against. There is one more guy that I am rooting for, and we haven't gotten to it yet. We get to it now. John Brooks is out for the year. Tore his ACL. Same ACL that he tore that wrecked his final year at the University of Texas. He is done for the season, shutting it down. He will be having surgery sometime in the next few days to A, evaluate just how much damage was done, and B, to, fingers crossed, repair that damage. It also means that John Brooks will likely miss at least the start of next year as well. Coming up on Thursday, we'll talk to Rashad Beard about exactly what this does, because Blackshear is also dinged up, and you're at the point now where how much can you lean on Chuba Hubbard? How much can you ask Chuba Hubbard to carry the ball? How many carries is too many before you risk running him down too? Because you are dangerously close to entering San Francisco 49er territory, where you're just pulling up generic create a player 3 off your practice roster to have a body to plug onto the depth chart. I am bummed for John Brooks, because John Brooks is a dude that I really think fits in well. I think he fits in very well into that offense. I think he fits in very well for exactly what it is that Dave Canales wants to do. I think it fits in very well for every aspect of what Carolina is building right now. And by the way, these dudes are let me play you this clip real quick. This is J.C. Horn. And I really feel like, based on question and answers in practice interviews and post-game pressers and all that I have heard other Panther players speak on, I think J.C. Horn is pretty reflective of the mentality of the guys in the room right now.
You're locked in. In question, how bad do you want to be around here to see Dave Canales and this team really continue to build things?
I definitely want to be here. Definitely want to be here. You know, it's close to home. My family can come up here anytime, and I just want to be here because this is where I was drafted, and I want to see this program turn around, see this organization turn around, I should say. And I want to be here for the glory days, just like I was here for the bad one. So, man, I definitely want to be here and want to be a Panther for life. I'll just keep putting it on tape and let the chips fall where they may.
You mentioned the glory days. Last one for me. What does that look like? What do you envision that looking like here in Carolina?
Super Bowl. You know, winning division back years, domination, and I think we getting the pieces to put it together, slowly but surely. And like you said, hopefully, you know, I'm here to see this thing turn around.
Back to back years. Genuinely, I am getting the impression from, again, post-game press conferences, from seeing the emotion on the face of these dudes. First off, regardless of how we feel about the performance of Bryce Young, of Xavier Legette, of the defense, whatever, we can all agree.
Horn, are we sure he's going to be back with all the injuries that he's had? I'm not so sure that they re-sign him.
I think they will. If for no other reason, then you're optimistic that he's able. And I mean, again, for the most part, I think this year has been kind of a year where if only on the injury front. He got hurt this past weekend in a groin injury, but he said after the game, he really didn't think it was going to be anything that keeps him out for a while. Dave Canales said on Monday that he's day-to-day and that he checked out pretty good after the injury. It's really the first time he's had to miss. But on top of that, I think you hear right there, a dude that can absolutely be kind of the Steve Smith of this team, right? Can be the leader, the center point, the focal point. And Carolina has, over the years, they've had very good success in having like one of those guys, a Luke Kuechly, a Greg Olsen, a Steve Smith. They have almost always had, and I do feel like this is kind of one of those things that you can point to over the past 3 or 4 seasons, and you can blame it on Matt Rule. You can blame it on Frank Reich. You can blame it, honestly, probably mostly on Dave Tepper. But it has felt to me, Lonzo, like you went from an organization that for a very long time kind of always seemed to have one of those guys, like one of those clubhouse locker room vets, Dan Morgan back in his day, whatever, to a team that over the past couple of years has had the exact opposite, has had a vacuum of leadership, probably since, Cam Newton left? It kind of felt like there's been a vacuum of leadership. There's been guys that you wanted to step into that role, Brian Burns, but then he gets shipped out of town. It's kind of felt like they've been a ship without a captain for some period of time. J.C. Horn strikes me as that guy that can kind of step into the role. If he can stay healthy and can produce as he was producing up until this weekend. And again, he may not miss any time at all. We'll find out. But if he is producing consistently the way he's producing right now, I think J.C. Horn can be next in that slot. Him and Shaq on the defensive side of the ball. And honestly, Derek Brown, when he gets back healthy next year too, all three, you have one at each level. On the offensive side of the ball, 3 weeks ago after the loss, Bryce Young, we all talked about the locker room speech, and you had dudes, one guy, I think it was JC, I don't remember. One of the guys said, Bryce Young's voice changed when he gave that speech. So that voice got deeper, and he sounded like a leader, right? And you can say what you want. Lonzo's going to laugh because he's a hater, and I get it. But I think my mom has what I call the telephone voice when she picks up the phone and she changes her voice to sound much more pleasant, right? She talks to you like this, but then she puts on the phone. She's like, hello, right? Call it telephone voice. There's the leadership voice too. You're telling me right now that you don't have a manager that talks to you one way, but when it's time for a meeting, the voice changes. I do it when I cut promos, right? They said he kind of adopted that mentality and the boys bought in. I think there's something to it, and I think you're seeing it on the football field.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
Now it's time to find out what's Xing and why. Rob Brown will tell you what it is. I don't know that I can't go any. I'm trying to go deeper. The first thing that's Xing Rob Brown, babe, is Jalen Hurts.
Oh, you had to make it so weird. Tell you why Jalen Hurts is trending. Well, tell me why I think Jalen Hurts is trending. We're a couple days removed from the Eagles nearly losing to the Carolina Panthers. Honestly, should have lost to the Carolina Panthers. XL catches that football. Carolina wins that football game. We're having a very different discussion this morning. The reason I think Jalen Hurts is trending is because people on the internet are starting to do film breakdown. People on the internet are starting to go look. And Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, despite having one of the best records in the NFC right now, the pass game for Philly is trash right now, and he is getting cooked for it.
So you've missed the beef. You're going to have to look that up.
Yes, one of the, was it offensive or defensive lineman? One of the guys on the team.
It was a receiver.
I know AJ Brown had a lot to say about the lack of efficiency in the passing attack, but I think one of the linemen was on a podcast, and he was ripping Jalen and AJ, ripping the entire pass offense, and then got cooked up for it. So he said yesterday, he's like, I have to go apologize. He's like, I made a mistake. I got emotional. And we've all done it. We've all gotten emotional and popped off at the mouth and said something we didn't mean and had to apologize. And I respect him being willing to go take that heat. But here's the thing. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Detroit beats Philly by 2 touchdowns right now because Philly can't throw the ball, and Detroit will bite their kneecaps.
All right, the next thing is Xing is Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, it's going to be a whale of a card that I suspect we will probably spend some time talking about when Fight Club with Lonzo rolls around on Thursday at 9:20 in the morning. But we've got title matches. We've got tag team matches. Like, it's setting up to be kind of for what I kind of thought was going to be built up and turn into ultimately a bit of a throwaway PVE, PLE.
There you go. You got there. Way to go, babe.
It's that PPV, PPL, PLP, PVE, whatever.
I thought you were going to go PCP there for a second.
What I thought was going to be a throwaway card actually turned out to be pretty good.
Yes, and we don't know all the matches yet, but it is getting better and better.
How about Finn v. Gunther v. Damian, 2 friends of the show, and Finn Balor in a match?
Who could be a friend of the show eventually? You never know.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you never know.
Next time they come to town, Finn will be on the list. I want to talk to the Prince.
Me too. I want to talk to the Demon. The next thing that's Xing is the transfer portal.
Happy transfer portal day, by the way. The portal is officially open. Players that have said they were going to enter their name into the portal can now enter their name into the portal. It is now their opportunity to change teams. We will see tomorrow, I love you tomorrow, what that ends up looking like and what teams are the most impacted and affected moving forward. So stay tuned for that. Hey, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being here. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Tell your friends about us because Lonzo and I are trying to get rich and famous without having to enter the transfer portal for it. All right? You'll have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate, babe. Babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe.
You know, Steven, how many people went along with that and had no idea what OPP stood for?
Okay. I feel bad telling so many I was dating stories, but this one fits the
So
conversation.
this one time I had date.
I was dating a girl in Fort Walton many moons ago. And we were at her family gathering once, and I don't remember what it was, but she asked me about something. Did I want to do something? And I said, yeah, I'm down with OPP. Not knowing what that meant in front of her entire family. I was like, oh, I'm down with OPP. And she gave me the biggest, like, wide-eyed, like, bro, what stare. And I was like, yeah, I'm down with OPP. Let's do it. And she just so after all of that happened, she explained to me what OPP actually means. And I don't know that I've said it since then, to tell you the truth. Not that like I'm against it. I've said way worse. Just that it was relatively embarrassing. And if you don't know what OPP means, don't say it again until you do.
And don't look it up on your
work computer.
Yeah, don't do that.
Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it as always. Appreciate you coming by, my guy. Thank you for being here. Sincerely, we mean it. We appreciate it. That is going to be it for us because Rob Brown's got a jet. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being here. Love you. Mean it. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.